Saying women are with it. It's all a matter of heart. Somebody's got to lose. Soon enough, work and love will make a man out of you. Colin Wise song. That's right. They will make a man out of you, infidels, and that's what we're going to do here. Because if you can stand this torture chamber, you can hang in Gitmo through waterboarding for 2 or 3 years at a time. Because ding dong, infidels, it's not Big Ray. No, it's Hacker Hameen and Colin Wise song here on the Smack Attack. Oh boy, ya Allah.
We let you into the Smack Attack Lounge, Ben Hameen. Welcome. Again, we've got the harem of women here for you. We've got the spread of food.
Yeah.
Always. I think this is the second time you've been here. We try to keep it clean.
And you're a big shooter with a CW shirt on. Look
at Strangler Steve sent this in the mail, and there were explicit instructions that said, wear this tonight.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, of course he did. We'll see if it's Hacker up over 2CW or if they actually get to make their comeback on 12/20/20, which 5 years of the date that I closed that stupid infidel moron company the first time. So we'll see exactly what's going down, but I don't think there'll be anything because I've still got phase 2 of COVID. I've got 2 more racial attacks to start civil war, and I've got your election canceled already for total Trump tyranny. So before that, all that has to happen before any 2CW show even thinks they can get off the ground. So people were spending $175 on front row ticket VIP meet and greets, all sold out already. No refunds, moron. Thanks for the Christmas money, infidels.
Well, at least I'll get double use out of this shirt because my initials are CCW. So even if when you close 2CW down, I can still rock this shirt. So
yeah. I mean, I got a plenty of 2CW shirts that I use to wipe my dog's ass with and pick up jog shit off the front lawn and stuff like that. So they'll find it handy. They're very good for that. But there will be no 2CW. I command it. There will be they make announcements. Rich Swan's coming. Spike Dudley's coming. Nick Gage is coming. No, none of them. They will all be shut down and destroyed.
Well, I've got some rumors here from our good friend William Alasia from the Hameen Media Discussion Group. As we kind of saw tonight, Big E is rumored to be on receiving a slow and steady push, maybe IC champ, and then soon for the Universal title. And we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get into that segment of the show. Then we've got Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar may actually get booked. Is that something that you would like to see?
The match, Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
No, not that I don't want to see it and wouldn't watch it, but I'm not like, that's the match, so why would they want to book it? Because they're both shooters. The fact that they're both from UFC at one time. Well, one guy had 2 fights and got suspended for Smiths, and the other guy's a fucking unlimited heavyweight world beater. So the reality of them hooking it up in a UFC way is already fucking complete bullshit. So why would the wrestling match, be that much more believable? We'd all want to see them shoot on each other, and Brock would twist Matt Riddle up 3 ways to Sunday. So I think the money that they still are going over is Goldberg versus Riddle. Mm-hmm. And then they're not doing anything the right way, as we'll see on this show, to play into reality or get Baron Corbin to a higher level or do anything that's really going on that would actually have people tuning in going, holy shit. And we can talk about that when we get to this segment.
Now, as someone who watches Raw, that's you, Seth Rollins and Dominic will supposedly have a match and lead to Seth beating him and eventually recruiting Dominic to his faction. The two may actually team up and win the tag titles down the road. Is this Seth Rollins like taking Dominic under his wing, for Rey Mysterio? Is this one of those things where he's learning? Is he going to learn the ropes from Seth Rollins?
Well, Ray's on a per performance basis on pay. He doesn't have a contract, maybe aside from his Legends deal. So he's doing good business so his son can have his gig, and it's smart. But I don't know, he's so green, to keep him on camera is dangerous, it's just a dangerous proposition. He did good this week. But that doesn't mean next week is going to be a home run, especially in something that Seth doesn't even really believe in. So it's not like it was over and Dominic's really going to get the rub from this. It's more just, here, eat this shit that we don't really have anything to come up with. Now, the basis of the story, turning on your father, going to the dark side, becoming the dark recruit, and learning and being in there, that is good for him. However, is that good for us as TV viewers? Are we invested in Dominic? Do we really care? I think the answer is no to all of those. So the story seems like it would have teeth, but really we haven't done enough to elevate the players or really even be into the Messiah, that enough to really give a shit about that.
Yeah, I think there was a match on AEW with Warhorse and Cody Rhodes, which Ted and I are going to talk about on Next Level. But you could watch that match, and Ben, you could tell that guy he's not necessarily ready for prime time. The match looked like as Ted's teaching me, and as I've heard you talk about, Tommy Dreamer has a certain set of matches, like a formula for a match. That looked like that's one of those entry level or maybe mid intermediate to higher level match formulas that I guess you guys kind of learn when you're learning like how to put a match together. Is that?
Well, I wouldn't say you're on the right path, but you might be misunderstanding a little bit what I mean by the Tommy Dreamer matches. He assesses how rotten you are. And fucking, how much he feels like doing that night or where it is in the main event. And that's where he goes, because instead of trying to put a match together, it's just the classic Tommy Dreamer match, and you fit the other guy's shit in there and whip wop whoop, and you do it, and Tommy doesn't get hurt, and everybody says ECW, and then you hit Tommy in the nuts with a fucking ring bell and the hammer, and then you know what I mean. He fucking blocks it and does it on you, and you take it home. So it's not like the classic, entrance shine, fucking heat, comeback, falsy, like that's the 7 Deadly Sins match. But with this and what you see with a lot of people on AEW and NXT, and this is why they are they aren't companies, they're developmental systems with indie workers who've never been trained for TV or are training for TV in the case of NXT. So NXT, your best workers who are going to be able to carry the ball, your Adam Coles and those guys, even Keith Lee, they still have to be taught to work for TV. Adam Cole, I mean, he's done a lot with Ring of Honor and whatnot, so he probably gets it. But like, I see Cody with Warhorse having to position him, turn him to get to the thing. They're turned the wrong way, so Cody has to turn around and sell to the camera to get his character over. A fan wouldn't notice all that. They just think the match was a little bit less. But there is, true professionals who know how to work for TV versus indie guys who work for a crowd and then they don't know anything about where to do stuff for TV time, where to turn to, how to sell the right way with your face up and all that kind of stuff, because they've been put over with you deserve it and whatever the fuck else, fight forevers. But really, their style is weak. It's weak style. And they think they're way up there. Not to say Warhorse did a bad job. They told a good little figure 4 match, but it for those who are veteran workers, it's abundantly clear who is an indie guy and who isn't. And AEW's roster is filled with people who still don't know how to work for TV. All of their girls are clueless on on knowing how to work for TV. And it's not really their fault, because they're hired, told they're elite, and they're over because of the indies. And then the bell rings and it's apparent that somebody lied. But then they don't want to go, I'm rotten on TV. I can't suck this bad. How do I get better? They go, no, I'm the best. I'm still great. Look at me. I'm on TV. I'm awesome. I must be good. When the reality is their performance is 40% of what even a third-year OVW persons would be, who's ready for TV to main event compared to them. So they keep acting like they're over, they're going against some big brands. NXT is a developmental, full of green people who shouldn't be hired, and indie workers who busted their ass, like a Mia Yim, who knows how to work for TV, but she's surrounded by Shotzi Blackheart and everybody else who doesn't have a clue how to work for TV. And it's not a slight on them, like, you don't know how. It's just 2 different levels. You got 2nd graders and 12th graders on the same show. And guess what? You're telling everybody they're 12th graders. They're not. And it's going to be abundantly clear that way. And then they say, we wouldn't sell and bring in WWE guys. And then here come the 12th graders and watch the second graders go, it's recess time. See ya. We'll be over here on dark or fired and not contracted or not working house shows because everything's shut down. Oh, yeah, I'm all elite. Look at me. I'm a librarian. Oh, what? Zack Ryder's here. Oh, Bischoff's coming next week. Oh, kiss your fucking money goodbye. You got worked.
Well, that was the thing too. Ted and I are examining this Warhorse match as someone who's from the Indies versus Eddie Kingston, the veteran, and we're kind of comparing these two matches that they had on Next Level this coming Thursday when the show comes out.
Big respect to Eddie Kingston and Warhorse. I'm not saying they don't. They've made their names. They work their marketing. They have their fan base, and they know how to use it. They both absolutely do that. Eddie Kingston, his money is in his mouth. It's not in his body. It's not in how many bumps he can take. And the fact that Eddie Kingston has to have a hardcore match is to cover up the fact that nobody wants to see Eddie Kingston have a technical wrestling match. You know what I mean? That's the truth. That nobody wants to see me do a bunch of crazy shit like high flying, like it's all old school, right? So Eddie knows where his money is that's his mouth and his story. He can do that better than anybody on the AEW roster, and that's probably what got him his job. But we started with a hardcore match. Where do we go from here with Eddie Kingston?
Maybe he joins up with Prime and Powerful. He gets in there with the Inner Circle, maybe. He
could go back with LAX and those guys, sure. As a mouthpiece, nobody wants to see him wrestle. Like, not nobody. I mean, he needs payoffs, and he can do it. He can pay shit off. But the fact is, just the fact that you're signed means you got to go wrestle. That's the problem. They don't realize where guys need to be utilized properly and that this guy's a mouthpiece, and that's where he can talk people into the stands and talk people into buying a ticket. However, ain't nobody buying no fucking tickets right now. So guess what? Khan's marking out. Khan's hiring Bischoff. Khan hires Zack Ryder because he's best friends with Cody. With, whoever. You go right down the list. Fuck the Revival. Whoever it is, dude. And they're all neutered. None of those guys are over. Brody Lee's working his ass off, but they clipped the wings of all their big men. Brian Cage, Brody Lee, and Murder Hawk Lance Archer. They're all dead in the water at this point. None of them even Bang Bang. Impact fires shots at AEW and WWE 100 times better than AEW does it at WWE, and they claim that they're in a war together. Come on, man. It's silly. It really is some second grader shit when there's people with master's degrees and doctorates ready to step up and take your fucking spot. Then they are in the wrestling bubble and they're blind to it. That goes for every company. Like, the wrestling bubble is so strong. I heard Heath Slater, is still trying to play politics for both sides instead of just leaving and going and becoming his own thing. Like, that makes me sad that, like, these guys, and I can tell you about others who've been featured and endeavored since Mania, and I've reached out and they seem like they want help and to do it, and they're still just sitting there spinning their wheels while the rest of us keep moving everything forward, and they're that much farther behind, unfortunately.
Hey, I mean, you have a great thing set up here, and I think there's a market.
Not just me,
there's a huge market for realism, and I think there's a huge market for the behind the scenes type of stuff in wrestling. So I think, like, you hooking up with Goldie, you hooking up with Stevie Ray, you hooking up with Russo. Like, I think fans want to hear real stories from the wrestlers. That's why shows like Talking Shop do so well, because they feel like they're, those guys are going to give them the straightforward answer and the straightforward truth. So if there are those guys that were futured endeavored, Ben Hameen's here to help you, get your story out, get your thing out there, do your thing like Stevie Richards has with Stevie Richards Fitness, doing all the extra stuff that he does. Hameen's done everything here with Master Shoot Theater, doing all these things just to get his name out there, and you got to continue to grow your market, because now you don't have that steady paycheck coming in.
But they've got Stockholm syndrome. being in that bubble so long. They act like they're going to come out and shoot, bang, bang. Oh, wait till 90 days is up. Have you heard anybody except for EY really and AJ Styles really come out and blast on people? No, because they all think, well, that's going to fuck it up for the future and I might not be able to go back. Well, when you were just there, you were saying how fucking miserable you were and that everybody's a fucking idiot and that they didn't get you over, but you're complacent to go back and be miserable because the check's coming in, as opposed to putting all your fucking chips on yourself and going, dude, they didn't use me at the right way at all. Fuck them. You know who the one guy I can say truly did that? Sammy. Sammy Callahan. Who are you going to say?
I was going to say EC3 looks like he's about to do that now.
He hasn't done. He looks like he has, but he hasn't done shit. And he can cut these angry promos, but dude, like until I see something that's going to be really bang bang on WWE, that's me waiting on him to be like, I'm going back, and maybe they'll use me again one day. Like, if the wrestlers coming out of it in the 90-day bloodbath and all that can't see that we're in the end days of wrestling and that the product is ruined, that it's literally the Titanic and they're trying to bail it out with a red Solo cup, like fucking they are so blind to where this business really is right now, dude. And it's sad, and I'll try and help snap them out of it if I can, but really, I see it for what it is, and there's plenty of money and fame or whatever to be made in the dying days of talking openly about something that is so just bastardized at this point. Why not talk about it? Because it's not worth protecting. It hasn't protected any of them, and it's not protecting any of us. So fuck them, pal. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the market out there and the realism that the behind the scenes things that you see on Netflix nowadays, and the I guess the excitement and the popularity of Dark Side of the Ring just shows that there is that market out there for this, and we can have this now.
Another group that you had mentioned, everybody that we're partnering with, and I'm super pumped to be with Goldie and advising Stevie Ray and helping Russo run Russo brand. But I've also, because Stevie Richards hooked me up with him, Angel from the Baldies, the Kingpin Angel, ECW, has his own show, Wrestling with Tragedy, with a guy in Australia who's a wrestling pundit and co-host, and another guy who is in law enforcement and a wrestling fan. And they look at all these, whatever tragedies or whatever's going on with Sonny, what have you.
That's cool. Okay,
but they look at it from a law enforcement perspective. And whatnot, and they're gonna come on Hameen Media Group. We're gonna do some crossover there, and they're on Russo Brand Network as an affiliate. But another very cool show of somebody wanting to produce content and move things forward. And those guys are super hungry. They hit me up wanting information to apply it right away. And again, those aren't like, sure, I'm not taking anything away from Angel and Kingpin. Like the Kingpin, he's fucking put his time in every locker room, taking the bumps, putting the road miles on, and is 100% credible. But these dudes who are young are coming out of WWE and they think they're over, and they don't want to do any of the work where they could be making 10, 15 grand out of the gate, while these guys are busting their ass to just try and make $100 and get 100 followers. Like that's very, that pisses me off. That's lazy. That's lack of work ethic and lack of vision, while they still sit there and think that they're all over, and I'm not having that shit. So, but shout out to Wrestling with Tragedy. You guys give them a follow. Definitely going to be coming to Russo Brand and Hameen Media Network soon for crossovers.
Wrestling true crime. That sounds very interesting. Yeah. That's very, very niche. I have one more rumor here for you, Ben, before we get into the show. Roman Reigns, yes, he's jacked and he's putting those pictures out. He could possibly return and be back in heel fashion and paired up with AOP to make a rumored new Shield. But that's not all. He could possibly have a WrestleMania 37 match with his cousin, The Rock, where he possibly beats The Rock in The Rock's final match, solidifying Roman Reigns as the #1 star in the WWE. Is this something that you're looking for? Is this just more of them cramming Roman Reigns down our throats?
Goddamn awful. AOP and him in a heel Shield. you're not going to turn him heel because there's no crowd to boo him and like be like, what the fuck? We thought Roman was the guy. So turning him heel is a terrible goddamn idea. Build him as a baby, body up, and fucking do a baby match with him versus The Rock. And that is the money. It absolutely is the money right there, dude. So to make him and put him in that class where people talk about Triple H, Stone Cold, and Cena, and they like, and Reigns is pop. You see this in almost every write-up. And in recent years, Roman Reigns has been the top star. However, he hasn't reached the heights of those other names. They always fucking drive that in there. And that's goes right to Triple H saying, there aren't going to be any more megastars in WWE. We're going to push the brand. And did it. Well, how's that fucking working out for you, Mr. 1.46? Like, not too fucking good. And they could have with Reigns, and they effed it up how many times? Same with Bray Wyatt. How many times? There's plenty of millions of dollars there that they just leave on the table because they don't want these guys to become bigger stars than The Office. For what reason? That is mentally insane to me that is the fucking policy, while everything keeps going down. Then we have our Q2 call, and they're like, we have 40 million more liquid cash than we had in Q1, where we only had 10 million. Like, they juke these stats for the stockholders, be like, oh man, they increased their liquid cash for 300%. They must be doing great. That'll get the stock price. But they don't say in that same call that over the last year, we've lost half of our fucking core audience, and we are probably not going to be able to re-up with our sponsors. And they leave all that out. They just try and find these little things that are easy fake analytics that don't mean anything to appease a bunch of Mark stockholders. But then Variety magazine, a real industry magazine, and other ones look at them like Forbes, and you can't pull the fucking wool over their eyes because they're real analysts, and so are we. And that's just Vince trying to juke the shit when they know everything is fucked right now, dude. And this show absolutely backs that up. The creative was awful. Like, nobody's getting over. There's nothing here to see. That if you missed this entire show, you missed nothing. And we're here because it's wrestling fandom, man. It's the diehards of Hameen Media and Russo brand, and we're going to talk openly about it. And people want to say, what the fuck is wrong with the wrestling that I loved and grew up on? And somebody needs to be held accountable. So if that's what these shows are for in the end of days, then so be it. Because I'm not the one putting my head on the line going, yeah, I'm putting my best creative out there. Let's do it. And I'm going to coach these people. No, it's just a bunch of ignorant people who will not work together to get things to the next level. And you hear it from the people who you just fired, whether it's Eric Young, whether it's AJ Styles, who is your champ, and you're still, and like, you see AJ, you could see it on his face, how mailed in he was tonight, dude. That was a mailed in performance. Absolutely. What do you expect? What do you expect to happen? Anything good? Nope. People go, Russo, could Russo save? Russo's the only one left in Hameen and Stevie to save this shit. You can't save it at this point. A year and a half ago, when I got a hold of Fox, there was still a little bit of hope. The door was closing. Pre-COVID, really, the door was closed, and now it's locked. There's a big 300-pound grizzly bear sitting in front of 500-pound grizzly bear sitting in front of it. You know, your wife on her gimmick, and fucking, three of her friends too at the same time synced up. You ain't going through that fucking door, bro, to fix things. It is fucked fully.
Yeah, it sounds like Vince McMahon's got to go before really anything can change. And the UFC model of doing things in the WWE is not quite working for him either, because that's something the UFC's always done. Is it's UFC brand first, and the popularity of wrestling's gone downhill basically ever since they've gotten away from trying to make a star like a John Cena, because every time they do make a star, they leave, and Vince is tired of getting burned. And he's ruining the product because he doesn't want to get that overstar.
It was the fact that they couldn't take CM Punk talking shit about him in public. That's the truth. That was the end of it.
Oh man, I mean, but that's like that's real though. That's why Stone Cold got over. Like the realness in those promos and everything is what drove people to the product, because they felt like, yeah, it was fake and it was scripted, but there was just that tiny little bit of realism that we get from reality shows like 90 Day Fiance and all these shows that are is pulling the ratings away. Like, why are people sitting at home watching The Masked Singer when like it's way more exciting to watch people do 450 splashes and to watch you fish hook dudes and beat them with flags and things like that. But no, we're watching The Masked Singer. We're watching America's Got Talent
because it's a parody of wrestling. And I don't know, maybe it's because the Nancy Browns and the 85% are that fucked that they really watch people in fucking costumes to be the Masked Singer and shit like that. Like this sick obsession with D-list celebrities who don't matter and are just trash performers on what they do. And now we're going to put them on a reality show like I'm supposed to give a fuck about them. Like, what they are feeding people now is Soylent Green. It's the lowest level, the lowest common denominator of entertainment that we've ever had. Just garbage in, garbage out. And it's not just because of reality. Like Real World was a decent reality show back in the day. Now, where we've got now, it's an entire world. TV, entertainment, music. It's all manufactured. You could run everything through the NXT filter and it's shit. From hip hop to pop music, to rock music, to whatever it is. There's nothing original. It's all a corporate shill. And it's going to go that way. And I felt this in the 80s too, and that's why I hated 80s music and rock music and hair bands until all the underground rises up again. And fucking the underground will rise and we'll have a 10-year, renaissance like we did 90 to 97, 98. And then they'll hoard out and fuck it over all again, dude. But I think at this time, America is in that same spot that wrestling is. There's no bailing her out. There's no righting the ship. And we're just in the end of days. I know it sounds bleak at 11:15 at night, but to talk that on some SmackDown wrestling shit, but it really is the greater vision of where everything is. It's just a fuck this mentality. Fuck it all. Who cares? That's what it feels like when I watch the show.
People come to Hamid Media for the conspiracy stuff. So, I mean, even a little bit of conspiracy talk here on the Smack Attack is okay. I mean, I was texted with Billy Ray Valentine, and he said that he wanted to stop by tonight, but he was writing some papers. So he may or may not try to make the run in here tonight. And even so, do you want to go ahead and just hop into the show tonight? Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
Shit, no, dude. I mean, I've been on air so much, bro, this week. You can check out everything from Impact Attack, Light the Fuse, Monday, Wednesday, Friday Locker Room, SmackDown Raw review on Russo Brand Master Shoot, like the watch-alongs. I'll probably be watching along UFC tomorrow night, too. So I'm here all the time. Let's just knock her out, baby.
Well, speaking of that, in the Hamid Media discussion group, JB Javed has put on the MMA Pick'em Challenge. And Ben Hameen, it is you and I for that television title, sir.
Yeah,
coming up this weekend. I hope you have great picks.
I researched my picks. I put my point. There was only one thing. There's only 2 matches where I might switch my points, but we'll see. Yeah, I got hot at that stuff because a lot of those things, even the early ones, were like, based on this with X amount of factor, and just base it on fucking score. Like, I'm here every week in the locker room. I'm not going to be outbeat by somebody who's here for 1 out of 8 that doesn't fit. So I had to regulate, and I hate to be like, I'm going to take my ball and go home if not, but sometimes on the underlings, you have to be like, that's the wrong way to do it. Here's the right way to do it. Let's go forward. But yeah, I'm going to kick the fuck out of you. That's just how it goes.
That works. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. I looked them all up. I think I got a 5 out of 5 pick. I think there's going to be 4 out of the 5 matches are going to end up by either knockout or submission. Only one's going to go to decision.
Yeah, I have a feeling Derek Brunson's probably going to get stopped in that fight coming up this weekend. But Ben Hameen, I don't watch a lot of Raw. Do they do these precursor table of contents at the beginning of the show? Do you like that they're pre-telling what's going to happen so you can kind of get a heads up of what's going on into these shows?
I think it's different from what they did, so it's a choice that when they've done it the last 2 weeks, it stuck out, and I went, I like that. It's billboarding the show, might keep me interested, or might say, fuck this, I'm not sticking around in the main event for Bailey. But I think it's a creative choice, and it's different, that shakes up the beginning of the show, and I like it. I liked it the last 2 weeks.
And you can get use out of guys like Kofi and Xavier. Like you can use them at home to cut promos and things like that. So it's a way to get guys that we haven't seen in a while on the show. I'm a big supporter of this, and I like that they've done this the past couple weeks. We actually opened the show with a Firefly Funhouse segment. Bray Wyatt says that he was searching for Braun Strowman in the swamp. He says part of Strowman will always be trapped in the swamp, and he never wanted to hurt Braun Strowman. He said he only wanted to help him. But now the Fiend's awake, and the Fiend's going to come after anyone until he gets what he wants. What were your thoughts here on the Firefly Funhouse segment?
I thought we were going back to fucking old boys in the swamp. He's fucking back to Bray Wyatt, Cape Fear. Now we're back to Firefly Funhouse.
It's the many faces of Bray Wyatt now.
They established that? No.
No.
They did not establish that. So they're just flipping back and forth. Well, this is what I'm saying. They're missing so many key pieces in storytelling. And I really believe that it's because the USA and Fox are not getting what they paid for, which is a live show. They're getting these things that are shot weeks now in advance, or a day of, that are shitty, that don't fit a storyline, that a script and a story and a format that's getting thrown out the day of. Meanwhile, they're not on the road. They have no excuse. Like they have a week to do all this shit. And Steph says they write the show a year in advance. Yeah, sure the fuck they do. So there's no reason to why are we back to Firefly Funhouse, which I like, after we've made the choice to go back to Cape Fear and the Firefly, the old school one, without any link between the two. If you were really going to do it and be smart, which they're not, they're idiots and lazy, you would have had tonight's with Firefly Funhouse. And who's the guest on Firefly Funhouse?
You bring on the Bray Wyatt Swamp Guy.
Exactly, Colin. Yeah. Right, you're right there. You're right there. To start tonight was the night to start that, because the last thing we saw of Bray was what?
Him basically out in the swamp stuff. But do you have,
and comes back up as the Fiend?
Mm-hmm.
So in their mind, that's the big tie-in. We've got it now. No, we need to have Bray and Bray talking to each other, old Bray and new Bray. And the Fiend doesn't make an appearance until he did at the end, like he would have. But this was, again, lazy, limp, and creative, when that could have been an important catalyst of now we have the faces of Foley established. Instead, they just went with somebody. Here's what they did in a meeting. They went, we should do Faces of Foley with them, after they wanted to split it back. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And then they're just thinking that everybody else outside of that creative meeting just knows Faces of Foley, and that's what we're doing, everybody, without setting it up at all. I just want to slap the piss out of people, bro. Hard as I can, drop them to their knees, their face just thumping red, just like at the end of shows. I just want to smash them, bro.
Do you think it would work if they had the Swamp Bray Wyatt coming in, like the Cape Fear Bray Wyatt coming in and interacting with the Ramblin' Rabbit or Mercy, instead of him talking to Funhouse Bray? Or was that would be a little too wrestle campy? Maybe. I
just think that character Cape Fear Bray isn't in that cartoon world, so he wouldn't interact that way. He'd more react like, "What the fuck is that thing?" You know what I mean? So, and then Mr. Rogers Bray could be like, "Oh, don't worry, these are all my fine friends," and then maybe he could warm up. But he shouldn't know about one, shouldn't know about the other. They should be interacting with each other, where you shoot the one scene with all the lines, you don't move the camera, you have Bray come in as the other character, shoot all the in-between lines, you don't move the camera, so they can cut back and forth together, and then you overlay it in After Effects so it looks like they're both fucking standing right there facing each other in a one shot. It's not hard. Indies can do this shit. And guys, dude, did you hear me break down on Russo brand what they what segments cost?
No.
Start it here. Here's for the SmackDown Attack Hameen Media Group. It might not be Russo Brand subscribers, but if you can be one.
You're getting this for free, guys.
How much did they pay? How much did Fox pay WWE?
It was in the billions, the millions.
$1 billion.
Yeah, it was billions, yeah.
How many weeks in a year?
There's 52.
So let's just stop it at 50 regardless. 50 into $1 billion is how much?
It's 200 or
$200 million. $200 million, right? Over 5 years. So $200 million. All right. That's what they have to do this. $200 million divided by 52. 4 million, pretty much 3.8 million per show. So break that down into 2 hours into fucking 8 segments. So 3.8 million divided by 8 is roughly about 800,000, but it's more than that really. So it's $961,000 per 15-minute segment.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they could easily get so much out of that.
Easily, dude. Like
easily.
$961,000 for one 15-minute segment. $961,000 would fund 2CW for 6 months to get TV. And in that 6 months, we could fucking destroy AEW and WWE in that time.
And that's not to mention the stuff that they're getting from the Saudi Arabians too. That's just that's icing on the cake with that $1 billion they got from Fox.
You got it. And did you see anything tonight that was worth $9, let alone $961,000 fucking dollars? The only thing that was Big E split like he was gonna fucking give birth, like he was dilated 10 centimeters. That's about the only thing.
Let me play devil's advocate here, Ben. If they're gonna have a boat for SummerSlam, they're gonna need that capital there for that boat. So they have to kind of skimp on these segments to pay for the hourly rate for that yacht.
The USS Cole hit is ready to go. We're gonna sink this ship. We're just gonna end wrestling all in one fucking shot. Like that's the best thing they could do is fucking take everybody out to the middle of the ocean and sink that cocksucker.
They tried to get everybody killed in Saudi Arabia that one time with the airplane getting stuck, but
there's a death clause in everyone's contract that has a death clause. Might as well fucking put it to work.
That's crazy. Here we are.
That old crazy bastard to try and kill everybody and cash in on insurance. I don't.
No, I wouldn't put it. He did an angle where he blew himself up on television, so I wouldn't put it past Vince McMahon to do anything crazy like that. We go next to. I mean, go ahead. I was gonna go to the AJ Styles match.
We're streaming live on YouTube and Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. See a lot of the regular heads in there. Buckshot Kid, GM, Wolfers, Chris, Lionel, Barry Hill. See you guys. Appreciate you late night. I know I'm fired up and pissed off a little bit, but dude, it's been a long week, and these shows just are not getting any even remotely better booking wise, format wise, and they deserve no mercy at this point. It's sweep the leg, Johnny, from here on out.
He's got the guns ablazing. It's shoot to kill here at hackerhameen.podbean.com with Ben Hameen. So we've got this match here, and I think you're ready to shoot to kill on this match because you kind of said AJ looked like he was mailing it in on this match. We've got AJ Styles versus Grand Metalik, who has been accompanied by Lince Dorado. This was a fun little match. I was kind of excited for this match going into this, and Hameen, I kind of feel the same way that you do. That I thought, like, man, AJ's going in there with this high flyer, lucha style. Like this could be like a really, really great match. But then, kind of knowing what's happened with AJ in the past recently with the Good Brothers and everything, it did look like he kind of was just there to be there tonight. Like he wasn't trying to put on the performance that we normally get from AJ Styles.
And he knew it because he's a veteran worker, and his match was almost flawless psychology wise. Because what did he do? What did they work heat on, Colin?
It was the leg.
Worked heat on the leg, which takes away all of Grand Metalik's high flying shit. Also, AJ Styles a good high flyer and a good athletic dude. So now what have we done? Well, we've really done what UFC, a fight plan would be. We want to take this guy's ability out from underneath him, but that doesn't make for a sexy wrestling match when the whole fucking crowd was like, dude, I can't wait to see Metalik and AJ get their in a get your shit in fest. Did they give him a get your shit in fest?
No, we didn't get it.
AJ worked heat on the fucking leg and grounded him the whole goddamn time until it was time to try and go get his shit in. And then Metalik sold it well, the leg heat. But the audience had one thing of how awesome it was going to be in their mind for your opener. And we got something totally flat comparatively from two guys who can fucking do things that nobody else on the roster can do.
Yeah,
And
I'm always amazed when I see Metalik or Lince Dorado go out there.
Phenomenal athletes, unbelievable. Same as Ray Phoenix and Pentagon, right? Like that level. But instead, they come out and go lucha and fucking have a pinata like dumbasses. And they're marginalized because that's all you'll ever be in WWE is a fucking, pepper belly with a fucking pinata or driving a fucking lawnmower or whatever it is. If you're an Asian, you're a ninja or you're a goddamn kamikaze pilot. If you're a black guy, you're fucking Bojangles song and dance. That's how terrible they are. But this to me is AJ's fuck you. And it's not at the expense of Grand Metalik. It is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not because he's got heat with him, but because fuck this. Why? I'm just riding out the rest of my contract. I'm not going to take any insane bumps. I'm not going to do any shit for whatever. And I don't think anybody really agents AJ's matches. I think he's above that where he has an agent, but it might give him a finish, but he don't go through step by step. So this is where AJ got the fuck you into the world of like, I'm not bumping for you guys. And like, I bet when they went to the back, somebody wasn't like, what the fuck was that, AJ? Why didn't you guys get your shit in? They're probably like, thanks. And he's like, oh, good. Thank you. You're welcome. And everybody under their breath is like, fuck you. No, fuck that motherfucker. I can't wait to quit. Dude, he's going to fucking go. Well, let him fucking go. We pay him too much. Like all these little motherfucks that never get said until the car door closes. I saw that in the looks in his face at the end of that match.
Well, and it would be a shame. I mean, you and I both get it, and those listening to us get it, that AJ Styles would land anywhere and be a star anywhere. He's made the money for his. This is family money that he's making right now in the WWE. Because I mean, even Gallows and Anderson talked about it. Like this was family money that they were making to put away that they know that they couldn't get from anywhere else. But they do regret. I mean, he did say that they regret that first night that AEW was supposed to be on TNT. They were going to show up and turn on the Bucks and their former Bullet Club members. And that would have been like that TNT Nitro first night, big FU to them. But while they were over in Japan, tag teaming with Triple H, doing the Bullet Club gimmick doing that, they got re-signed. And then look what happened to them. So like you've been saying the whole entire time, AJ has a right to be pissed because they lied straight to his face the reason why they let his brothers go. So we got this match again, like you said, because AJ's, this is what you guys are going to get now. Fuck y'all,
Pretty much, man. And that's how I kind of felt leaving it. And I didn't hate on AJ afterwards because I saw it. I was like, I totally get it, dude. Like the kids who love AJ Styles who don't know and will never be scratching the surface of the business, fans, they're going to feel let down or be like, that wasn't really a great match of how I wanted to. But there was a bigger message sent in that segment, I feel right there, dude. He's checked out. He's checked out.
And that might be something, again, only guys that are in the business, such as yourself, would be able to see from that point of view, or people that listen and that really pay attention to it wouldn't be able to know. But
he can close his eyes and sleepwalk through a match. That's how good he is. I mean, he's 10 times the wrestler I'll ever be. But he that even his promo in that opening billboard thing was just like boilerplate, right? Mailed in. And even last week on commentary with Grand Metalik and all those guys in the ring, he's like, are you kidding me? These guys are the ones they chose to face me next. And that was like the Office punishing him, maybe not punishing him, but like, all right, your boys are gone. You talk shit on the internet. We'll see. Will you do business with the Lucha House Party? We'll see how much of a star you are. Like, these are the petty things that they didn't book a year in advance. They book now as punishments, dude.
Yeah, but do you really think AJ cares, though? I mean, he went out there and he was putting Riddle over.
He's
done the business to Ellsworth. He goes out there and has fun. I don't think he really cares all that much to a certain extent
because his boys were there.
Yeah.
Now his boys aren't there, and he's got to go and deal with shit. He's got nobody watching his back like how they should. And it's just more bullshit story where the writers don't know how to use them properly. And I just see it, of like, how many days do I got left, dude? Whatever, let's ride it out. But the thing is now he can do that because I think he still lives in Atlanta. Maybe they moved to Florida. I don't know. But, he's just got to go home now. It's not like he's on the road 2 weeks at a shot. So, it's just counting down the clock at this point.
Well, they cut out those live events. So like you said, there's more time for him to get home and see his family than there has ever been. I think for any of the stars in the WWE at this time.
You're only bumping 1 day a week, and you're not traveling after your bumps. That's the worst thing. The match, the bumps or whatever, it's the 3-4 hours in the car afterwards when your spine is all fucked up, and then it solidifies in those painful positions, and you're walking like a 70-year-old, and you got to do it all again the next day. So I'm glad he doesn't have to do that right now.
Well, we're probably going to be treated to an AJ Styles Lindsay Dorado match next week, as when Dorado is checking on Grand Metalik, AJ Styles jumps him and beats up Dorado. Then we head backstage. King Corbin tells Shorty G he could have a title match, and he basically offers him a king's ransom to go out there and take out Matt Riddle. And so it looks like we've got this. We've got this new thing now where it's a king's ransom bit. I mean, they're trying to make it a thing. He's going to start offering it to people, and this again could lead to him maybe getting a king's court where we get a Baron Corbin stable for Survivor Series later on down the road with maybe possibly a Shorty G. We see later on the show he propositions another superstar.
It's by September. Shorty G could be in a fucking jester's outfit.
They probably have a ton of them in the warehouse.
You got a king. Vince loves. He doesn't understand Game of Thrones. He just knows King Louis and the 14th and 16th and all that shit. You got a big tall king. You got a short guy. What is Vince gonna fucking think? He's the goddamn jester. Yeah. Like, that's how fucking terrible they are. I'll stooge right here, and I won't say where or who I know it from. I know he hates that King Corbin gimmick. I know he wants to do a mob type thing. That's not going to work for him either. Like, he wants to be he's Baron Corbin. He's not a mob guy. What's going to work for him is to be the asshole that he really is. I know that he likes chasing tail, married or not. I know that fucking he likes showing off his steaks and his grill and all that shit. I know he likes showing off his Ferrari and his house. I say you make him Dan Bilzerian. You make him a playboy. You make him a fucking womanizer. You make him a dude who can't. Now the real heat, and we'll get into this later, is he didn't want to work with Riddle, right? I don't understand why people want to work with Riddle. There's money there.
Mm-hmm.
What did Riddle just do that was the stupidest thing I think a lot of these guys are doing?
With the Me Too thing yeah.
Riddle goes and gives a whole statement, doxing the chick and telling how he cheated on his wife and he's sorry. All this hat and hand shit for marks who don't, their opinions don't matter about your fucking life. We saw Joey Ryan do it this week. We saw Quackenbush. This is a sociopathic thing these guys are doing, but that's something else to be discussed. But if you're going to do gold, and these guys are going to go out and put that shit out there, dude, it's out there. Grab it. That's the fuck you. Like, Corbin should be watching that on his phone, laughing hysterically at him, dude. You got caught cheating on your wife, dude. What if you said that to him? Like, isn't that boom? It's a real truth. Like, people are going to fucking perk their ears up and be like, what are they doing on WWE? This guy, and just have them keep fucking playing it and all this shit until Riddle goes fucking buck, right? And be like, hey, dude, and you can show that Corbin doesn't sweat it and he's got hot chicks around him. That's what Dan Bilzerian does all the time. Whatever his Epstein Island connection is, that he hires these 19 to 22-year-old models to go on yachts that he rents and smoke weed with them in the fucking Bahamas. Go do that for 2 weeks with him. Shoot a ton of shit with nothing but Insta whores with him, right?
Yeah.
And bikini models. And then you come back, and isn't that what Riddle really wants? Not that he doesn't love his wife and his kids, but he wasn't the big star he is now when he married her, and now he wants to fuck around and be a star. That's what Corbin is doing, and that's where the heat is, and that's where he can drive it in Riddle's fucking face, dude. But instead, we've got Game of Thrones and who will fucking beat the Ice King and get the king's ransom. It's a ransom for a king. Like my hidden treasure and my dragons. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, I'm not trying to put it on Corbin because I know he wants out of it. But the time has to come where these guys say no. Just say no. Like, they're going to go out there, and you're going to go out there, and yeah, you're going to king's ransom. It's a goddamn ransom fit for. No, dude, I'm done. What do you mean you're done? I'm taking this off. I'm going out. I got a whole new character. If you don't like it, fire me afterwards. I don't care. But this right here, this is shit. This crown is shit. This you jumped on Game of Thrones in the last season. That's how out of touch you are. You don't know Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. You don't know what's cool. I know what's cool. This is Instagram. Here, this is an app called Instagram, and this is a guy called Dan Bilzerian. Look at all the whores around him and how cool he looks. That's what I'm going to be right now. And in fact, I took it upon myself to go down to fucking Tops and Bottoms and hire 5 strippers. And they're outside right now getting tested for COVID. They're going to go out with me too. And if you don't like it, come stop me. And I know it's not live, so we're going to tape it. And if you don't like it, fuck off. But whatever this shit is garbage. And until that point of no confidence in your directors and writers come where you just say, fuck you. What are you going to do to me? I'm Golden Gloves. You're going to put your hands on me? This is dog shit. Like, then if you're going to accept dog shit constantly, you can't complain about it unless you're going to stand up for your fucking self, bro. He doesn't know his value and his worth. If everything that I hear comes secondhand of, I want to pitch this and I got to wait for him for that. And you fucking kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. All you heard was, Papa, don't hit me no more. Like, that's what you got to fucking step to the mic. And that's the only thing that Vince McMahon really does. And he'll be like, who the hell are you, pal, to say that to me? You want to fight? And then when he says, yeah, you punch him right in his fucking face, because that's what Vince loves. He wants to fight you on a plane. He wants to fucking get people fired up and show that I've got this power to get psycho. That's the crazy shit that fires him up. But instead, it's fucking House Lannister until we all die.
Yeah, I think if anyone probably in that locker room stood up and was like, no, I'm not doing this, like you said, Vince would get that rush and he would probably slap the title on them. Like he would let them walk out, and that's all he would talk about that day and just get so excited. They would be back in the next day and probably have the title.
Guys who are 6'8", 300 pounds, 2 a.m. outside the door. Vince, can I got an idea. Can I do do you think it would be cool? Would this get over? No. You just say, shut the fuck up and watch this.
Well, and they've set the precedent too. Like your idea with the real world stuff, like the calling out the fact that he's a womanizer and he's married. They messed around and tried to do that kind of stuff with AJ. They did the Jeff Hardy stuff with the drinking.
Dude, imagine, I've said this on Russo. Imagine the shit that was so hot with AJ and Joe, where they were real boys and they're like his kid calls him Uncle Joe. All I wanted was that scene from Heat where Robert De Niro sits down with Al Pacino and they're on opposite sides, right? The bank robber and the guy pursuing him. But they have to have this civil conversation. Meanwhile, they know they're both hunting each other and could kill each other in the street tomorrow. Why couldn't we have a birthday party at AJ's house for his kid with Joe there, where Joe's talking super serious right to him and shit, how he's going to fuck him up and da-da-da. And then the little kid runs up. Oh, hey, buddy, da-da-da. And Joe's got to switch and put him over, and they send him on the way. And then fucking Joe looked just right back, like that serious scene. Why can't we get we can't even come close to scratching the surface on high drama like that. And all you got to do is steal from fucking a movie, what it is. They stole from a movie tonight. Apparently somebody saw Snatch for the fucking first time, and they decided that Seamus is now going to be a fucking pikey, or he's a Bowery boy from 1940. The guy is can cut a promo. He's carved out of stone. He's been a world champion, and they don't want to make him Conor McGregor. You want him to be fucking gangs in New York. They're so out of touch with every single property. Every single guy that has millions of dollars written on them, they just wipe their ass with them, bro. Everyone. And they sit there and take it. So I can't I want to go to bat for Sheamus and Corbin all the time, but they're not obviously not doing anything to intimidate anybody and fucking scream somebody out or go on the net and go, Bruce Pritchard fucking sucks. He has no idea how to get me over. They've got 3 Hollywood writers in there who are doing nothing but stealing from fucking a DVD collection and putting me to be snatched. They want me to fucking do all this other shit. Like, just say no and go out and be the star that you know you can be, but they're not. And there's, whether it's Big E, whether it's fucking, they just don't do it.
Yeah, they don't, and we've got Jeff Hardy here in this ring for another lackluster segment. My biggest takeaway from this is that on the back of his shirt, I mean, they've gotten away from the delete, but it clearly says obsolete. So they're still trying to put the fingers in that pie that is the obsolete deletion universe of the broken universe. And King Corbin interrupts. And this is where I didn't get this. I didn't get where we're getting.
Sorry, let's go back. We got King Corbin with Shorty G backstage, and King Corbin's a monster heel cutting a babyface promo to Shorty G to coax him in, but it was too baby. Then we get the babyface Jeff Hardy in the ring doing, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm also a family man, and I love performing for you guys, yada, yada, yada. How he usually does. Good little babyface boilerplate shit. But then Corbin comes in, or what's his nuts comes in? Was it Corbin here? Or no,
yeah, it was Corbin came in on the Jeff Hardy segment.
Okay, sorry, I was off top.
No, you're good. So like, what took me off is that Corbin came in on this segment. It's like, if he's going after Matt Riddle, you know, why is he coming out here with Jeff Hardy? And they didn't really preface that with anything. And then he finally got to the point where he went to offer Jeff Hardy, who just got done with Sheamus, who's trying to like do good and do right. He offered him the king ransom to go after Matt Riddle as well.
Here comes your shitty 6 before we split into singles. Matt Riddle and Jeff Hardy plus somebody else versus Corbin, Shorty G, and fucking Sheamus. That's like your
shit. It sounds like he's trying to set up some kind of King's Court for a Survivor Series stable. That's what this is going to be, and or in the next couple of weeks, like you said, a shitty 6-man.
Corbin's here's how it is in his head. Here's how it is. Corbin is the fucking king. Sheamus is the white knight, and Shorty G will be the jester. That's how they thought of that in the Vince and Bruce car ride, that plane ride. It's exactly that.
Well, what if it was like Bruce and Vince are sitting in the car, and Bruce is like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, Vince, we'll do a jester. Like, let me call Hornswoggle. We'll get Hornswoggle on the phone." And as he's like picking it up, Vince like presses the on like the old school phone, like presses the dial, and sees Shorty G walking by, and is like, "No,
never mind. I've got a better idea." And then they'll pat themselves on the back. Yeah, Shorty G is the jester. Yeah, right, pal. And like, it's going on. It's going on just like that.
Well, this also surprised me here because we have a supposed face, Drew Gulak, who comes out and attacks King Corbin before their match.
So we have heels cutting babyface promos to coax in babies to turn heel, confusing as shit. Then we have a guy, we have him coming out during business that's not his, Jeff Hardy's business, because his business is Riddle, to do that. Then we have the run-in from Gulak, who's been a technical wrestler and gotten the rub from Daniel Bryan to get away from the PowerPoint bullshit that we know he's a babyface. And we have a baby doing a heel attack, even if it's in retribution, glomming a guy from behind is completely heel, dude. So this goes to show me too that the writers have no idea how to write for a heel or a babyface or put heat on the guy. Because if you're watching from one week to the next, you don't know who's good and bad in the lines of things.
Well, the calamity's not over, Mr. Hameen, because we've got, as this match is going on, Matt Riddle comes out at the top of the stage, distracts Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin still gets the win over Drew Gulak. But then Matt Riddle attacks Baron Corbin after the match, so we have the babyface attacking the heel after the match, after the babyface promo to the heel. Where are we at right now, Ben? I mean, I have no clue right now.
Away from me being an outside consultant, where I just go and slap people's faces after the show. I'm not talking $5 face. I'm talking drop you to your knees, change your life, concussion level slaps to the head, so you know that you did something completely wrong tonight, and you will never go back and do that again. You will never. Like that's reinforcing the psychology with pain at this point is the only thing that we could do to change this. When you have mixed business with babies who are known babies doing all heel attacks and then getting heel heat on the heels post-match, everyone is a goddamn fool.
Well, and then we have what seems like a heel turn here as Riddle is attacking Corbin. Shorty G comes in from behind, and looks like Shorty G's trying to get that King's ransom. What's going on here? I don't know. Can we just move on to Biggie versus The Miz?
Yeah, that whole seg was rotten, wrong, upside down, backwards, just a clusterfuck from the jump. Sometimes we say looked good on paper. That didn't look good on paper at all. Want to say a shout out to PW Hustle, Michael Davis on YouTube watching us now. Chris M having a good time, and me going off losing my mind over terrible phony wrestling creative. And Paul F agrees Heat was a good movie.
Well, I've said for a couple weeks now that Big E should be a singles guy, a guy that should be in that main title picture.
Past 2 years he should have been. We're 18 months late on this.
I don't know if he should do this with the New Day shtick that he was kind of doing throughout this match. I don't know if they may have to pull that back if they're going to make him like a serious contender and stuff like that.
This should have happened when, Colin? Here's more.
Oh man, like a long ass time ago.
When?
Probably when Kofi was. Kofi probably shouldn't have been the one to get the title. Big E should have been the one to get the title.
Him over anymore as a heel than as a top baby. You're only as a heel, you're only as strong as you were as the baby or turning heel, right? So if it was the big fucking thing after he had been with Kofi for a little while as champ, and then Kofi on the retain before Brock, he heels on him there and fucking kills him. You know what I mean? And then we would have had Big E. Then we would have had something. Now we're starting at a turtle's pace or a snail's pace to get out of the gates with Big E. We love him. We know he's fucking got insane power, unbelievable charisma. The body's there. He's quick-witted. But what are we just gonna do? Like break off New Day Big E and push him to the top because of that? Because he's African American in the time of Black Lives Matter, but we're effing that up too with MVP in them. We're not getting that right. So he's just going to be goofy New Day on the rise instead of a catalyst point that sent him in that thing like 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? We just missed it.
He's your new Ron Simmons if you're trying to put that Nation of Domination back together. If you need that
too.
That guy right there, that's him. But I feel like stage one last week was him getting his like, all right, Biggie, this is you. Like we're taking a seat back. Stage two of his rise as a single superstar, Ben Hameen, is he now has a signature submission.
Yeah, stretch muffler. I like that.
You got to have a signature submission if you're going to be a single superstar.
I do. It's camel clutch.
Yeah, so he's got that. That was very. Do you think he's gonna? I mean, that's not something he can do to everybody, is it?
Stretch muffler, sure.
Okay.
You just get the guy down, go up under, bend him back over. So it's like all it is a half walls of Jericho with his leg over your back of your neck, and you squat down and pull and make sure your leg's hooked in, and it puts that on there. So you can get that on almost anybody. Sure, why not? Maybe not. But that's about it.
He slaps it on the Miz to get the tap out. So Big E's on the roll here, 1-0 on this singles rise. That's a very really neat looking submission move. I know Cole Pop for it
uses it. Or did a fair amount in his career.
Yeah, I think that'll be something interesting to see if they plan matches around the psychology of that submission move. Now that he may be becoming a submission superstar with that, who knows? Backstage,
It's bad. Like it looked all right, but why is it bad, Colin? Why is it not bad? But why is it not right? Best choice.
I don't feel like that's something that he should do. I don't know if that fits his character really.
Why?
That I don't know. I mean,
Well, let's talk about how he looks.
I mean, he's jacked dude. He should do like a bear hug, a master lock, some kind of like big giant submission. But I get that the muffler thing.
You're learning big belly to belly power slam, something along those lines. When Big E hits you, that's all she wrote. Big E don't need to stretch you. He needs to hit you with the big bomb, something where you're like, holy shit. Like when Big E fucking comes down on you, it's probably legit like a bathtub getting dropped on your fucking chest. Like if he fucking wanted to unload, right? So we need something that everybody can relate to that way. Sure, the stretch muffler's there, whatever, but it's not impressive for him as a breakout babyface to be stretching guys like that way. We want to see Big E fucking throw a dude, fucking big wiggle, give him the fucking, like that's what I do. Hit him in the corner, shoot him off, and I give him the fucking pounce from, what was his name from Impact. Football player guy who used to do the pounds, Monty Brown. Fucking like that's Big E hits a guy with a shoulder block and sends him across the fucking ring. How far could he send Shorty G flying?
Well, the pounce may be something that we see on the main roster here because there's rumors that Keith Lee may be coming up. So that's probably why they don't give Big E the pounce.
I would do both, and I'd have pounce. Who's got the bigger? That's the whole story. Keith Lee's been laying dudes out with it. Big E gets it on TV on the main roster first. Keith Lee comes up to talk shit. Big E's a heel off of that. And now we have fucking Pounce Fest 2020, bro.
Oh, I like it. I like it. What about like a submission where he wrenches your back across the knee, like a backbreaker submission or something, something brutal like that.
A power guy like that shouldn't be doing subs, bro. Scott Norton shoulder breaker would work for him too. Nobody's using it, and it's awesome. One of the best finishers ever, Scott Norton shoulder breaker. Go watch a highlight reel of him. Fucking unbelievable. And Big E could do it. Gut wrench the guy, get him up, fucking spin him around. Whoa, pow, pow, fucking drop him. Dude, that'd be enough to beat me. Fuck that. I ain't kicking out.
Well, backstage, we go to Cesaro and Shinsuke, who are hanging out, drinking, having some champagne, and then Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik show up. We got some Spanish from
this is my favorite segment.
Yeah, we got some Spanish. They're letting Cesaro and Shinsuke flex the muscle here, trying to be a little bit of themselves. We get the weirdness from Shinsuke with the meow thing there at the end of the promo, but this was a fun little.
But Shinsuke is like speaking almost nearly perfect Spanish.
Yeah, yes.
Speak English with the shit. Go into fucking Espanol, no problem. I popped huge. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So, even though this is some bullshit, he goes, hey, amigos. I was like, what the fuck? Where Lucha's got to act stupid and those guys got a big league. It's like, hey, let's get everybody who's a non-English speaker and we'll see throw them in a blender and we'll see what the fuck comes out. So I like that because you never know what's going to happen. You being an improv guy and myself, that in the moment, riding the edge of the razor blade is where you want to be as a performer. Scary space. They kind of get forced into it here based on language barriers, and they make the most out of it. And it's the most real and believable scene on SmackDown because their language barriers kept them from being over-directed by shitty directors and writers. Pops me, bro. Pops me big time.
I was very surprised by it. I mean, I could probably understand Shinsuke having the Spanish. I mean, he was over there in Japan. A lot of those guys, there's that mix of guys, but Cesaro having the Spanish was very, very surprising there. Then we get Sheamus auditioning for the next Guy Ritchie movie. Go backstage. He chose the wrong environment for his match with Jeff Hardy, as Sheamus admits that he was fighting Jeff Hardy on home turf, and he basically says that the SmackDown locker room is on notice So not only do we have the Sheamus coming after the SmackDown locker room, but we also have the Fiend, who is pretty much out and after anyone. So who you got? You got Sheamus or the Fiend on taking out the locker room first?
Sheamus. Fiend's got to do a whole psychology thing on you before Sheamus just show up and beat the fuck out of you, leave you laying. And so the thing with Sheamus, the fact that they're not doing, if I would pour every cent I have into getting Conor McGregor on my show for SummerSlam. I would have there's only one. It's all about Sheamus and Conor McGregor. That's the rub. That's where it is. That's where you want it. Then when Conor fights, you show Sheamus with him, walking him out. That's the big money, dude. And they're not even close to that at all. Like you said, we're Pikeys and whatever else it is, dude. The dockside boys.
He's gonna fight anyone over a diamond that's the size of your fist. Watch out, guys.
Who got the union job that day? You better fucking knuckle up. He bear box. He's old school boxing style. Even he does this shit now. I'm sure we're about 2 weeks away from that.
Hashtag Sheamus deserves better. No, hashtag Sheamus. Naomi deserves better. Hashtag. Sorry. Naomi versus Lacey Evans is next. Now I guess Evans is turning heel. The one thing that Ted's trying to really teach me on the show, is that if you have really good character, you can kind of flow in between heel and face as long as it's something that your character would do. Now, I feel like Lacey Evans isn't quite following that model here because she was standing up for the bully. She was standing up for all these things against Sasha and Bailey, and now she's kind of being the bully towards Naomi with the karaoke, with the matches the past couple weeks and stuff. And now tonight, Naomi goes over, but not without really getting dominated by Lacey Evans for most of this match.
Well, you said a lot there, and you're right on all accounts. But let me tell you why. So Beast is right in the fact that you can, but Lacey's character is pretty much a heel. However, they needed somebody competent to get over the ding-dongs, so they started pushing her towards Baby. She's blonde. She's beautiful. They tell the story of the family, and we think we might actually get her as, Miss USA, single mom, military, all that kind of shit, but we don't. Here's the thing, too, that Man Beast would agree with. When we have competent heels lead a match. Not that Naomi's not competent, but when we have competent character heels, we can rely the fact that we know she has heat already, a fair amount of it, and whoever we want to get over, we're going to pay off a little of that heat, and we'll get Naomi over and elevate her. That's what they did tonight. And that's why when you've heard me say before, belts are for guys who can't get over with character. Does what's her name from the South have any fucking belts at all?
No, she doesn't need it.
No, who's got all the belts?
The Bailey Dose belts and Sasha and two.
Are they really good at character?
No, not at all.
Are they over at all?
Not really. No.
Even belts can't get shitty people over, bro. So it shows you this match with Naomi and Sasha, or Naomi and Lacey was the best thing on the card. It was worked properly. Here's part 2. Naomi's going over, or that's what it says on the sheet. 50-50 booking is bullshit. And they could have booked 50-50 here if they wanted to, and it still wouldn't have been that bad, but it's bullshit because we want what's the most important part of the match?
The finish.
You got it. So the finish is all anybody is really going to remember. So we need to make the finish important. How do we do that when we put the baby over? The heel should be taking 90% of the match because the baby's going to win anyway. So whatever. So if the baby took 90%, then the heel's just the shits, and then it's easy to beat them. They don't have any heat at all. So the fact that Lacey got all that heat on her, Naomi goes over the what?
Oh, I can't remember. Yes.
Simple wrestling. Nothing impactful. That allows Lacey to be shocked and be like, what the fuck, to get her heat back right away. So Naomi got elevated because she got the win and paid off the heat. It wasn't anything impactful that Lacey had to bury to be like, what the fuck, and come back to life. It's wrestling. It's a simple pin. I felt Rip Rogers fucking booked this whole segment, dude, because to me, this was 101 and done the right way by both these girls. People were kind of a little bit shitting on it because they don't understand. But when I watched this, I saw what you saw. I saw a girl that came back to being heel because they needed to help get her over. They did stuff off of the Naomi Twitter thing right away, which they usually don't.
Mm-mm.
They usually come way Johnny come latelys on everything. So they're right in the pocket on that. Lacey does good business to elevate Naomi after getting heat on her last week to pay it off because they know they're not getting a SummerSlam match. Even if they built this, it'll get kicked to the pre-show and forgotten about. So why not do it here? Then she goes over we do pin drill and we go into paying off with just a pin, getting over wrestling. Then heels get their heat back. Bro, that's Rip Rogers format 101 on how to get lower card, mid card business elevated and make both people in the scene by making the baby, by paying off the heels heat, and then heel getting heat back on him again at the end. It was goddamn near flawless. Bravo to both girls.
Yeah, I felt like and I felt like Lacey was a little stiff there with some of the hair pulling and stuff. You could tell Naomi was going up there grabbing
extensions. It's not hooked into her fucking head. The only thing that there's heat is that you're messing with a black woman's hair, which is no 101 for anybody. But you know that's but here's a problem too. They did the hair thing last week, so it's established. They did this twice on the show tonight. So we're doing hair heat really in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have hair heat later in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Leg heat in the beginning of the show opening match. We also work leg heat later in the show. That's bad booking 101 right there. Rip would come in, make his matches for the story, and if the heat on the dude had some issue to further the story, like say the master lock's going to break somebody's neck or something, well, then we're going to work heat on the neck in that match, and nobody else is going to work heat on the neck. You and your match, it doesn't matter. Your finish is, it's a camel clutch. So what am I going to work heat on through the whole match?
You're going to work the neck and the back and the face and the head and all that stuff. Yeah.
Master lock. I'm going to work the back, lower back, fucking, just keep wailing on them and to get their legs off. Somebody else should work arm heat. Somebody else should work leg heat. But we didn't you shouldn't work the same heat on the show ever. And they did it twice on the show, which shows me the writers don't know about wrestling format and Bruce and Vince don't care about wrestling format of what really matters. And in the overall larger scope of the show, in the way your audience feels from the first minute they start watching to the end, they'll have a better feeling about the show if you were to work heat on all the body parts, but we repeated it twice. And that also lowers the level of the interest in your show. That's psychology. That is wrestling psychology, not just what goes on in the ring, but how you book a card as well.
Now, did the WWE miss the ball on making Naomi the female John Cena? I know there was all that hype and buzz about Bayley, but I mean, you see Naomi, she outside of the WWE, you don't ever, I mean, you're in the trenches, you hear these things. Have you ever really heard a bad thing about Naomi besides the stuff with her husband? She's got that white meat baby face sheen to her where you could put her out there and not worry about, any kind of dirt or skeletons possibly coming out of her closet. She could be that female baby face. And I feel like they haven't really pushed her enough because they saw all the potential in Bayley. And where did that get them?
I could see it happen. I just, this is not on you, but that, be the whatever John Cena to me, that is John Cena is John Cena. Be who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? And that's why people are held back because they're always trying to be the next. Seth is trying to be Triple H. He's not trying to be Seth. You know what I mean? Fucking Reigns is trying to be The Rock. He's not trying to be Reigns, and he can't get it over, So with her, she could get to that level. I think the way to do it, and they're not going to because they're fucking it up already. Like I said, with the Black Lives Matter movement, it's not about Nation of Domination and Black Panther and Black Power and intimidation and angry Black. It's about Black empowerment and saying, yes, I got your back. You're not doing that clown shit anymore. Bobby Lashley. You're not talking out your ass. You're not doing Rockin' Robin. You're not doing Sami Zayn's obstacle course ever again. You're only getting title matches from here on out. You're going to take the title off Brock Lesnar, and you see him getting ready for that, right? Empowerment. Instead, we've got, he's the CEO of Destruction Inc. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, it means shit. And when we first came back, we had MVP as Jerry Maguire, a sports agent, putting these guys over. Now, MVP, I'm the real champ, man. That's right. MVP's balling. We're back, baby. Like, no one gives a fuck about MVP being a title and a champ and a heel that way. The whole thing is they're so tone deaf to what is going on in the world. Black Lives Matter. And they don't want to be, well, let's not rock the boat. Well, let's rock the boat in the right way. Let's empower every black performer we have under the guise of MVP calling WWE racist, which they absolutely are, and fucking now let's showcase them and let the world see that we can get this over in positivity. Now, once we get to that point, Naomi could be the first female recruit, and Naomi could be the one under MVP, and Naomi goes on the run and takes out Sasha, takes out Bayley, and fucking, it doesn't even need to be for title. It just needs to be the show that she can do it anytime she wants to and be elevated. And then you come back and have her take the title off when it means something. But it's about getting a positive Black Lives Movement to showcase all of your African-American talent in a way you never have. And the fact that that Vince is a mark for Martin Luther King Jr. Day and all that Black History Month. Who reads the fucking copy about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Not him.
Not him.
Not him at all.
Rollins. Seth Rollins is the the voice of the black man, of the black fucking pride. And Martin Luther King had a dream. He went and walked for people and fought for social liberty. Instead of instead of having a monologue where every African-American performer on your roster reads it, the Martin Luther I Have a Dream speech, or one of his other lesser known speeches that are highly important that should be showcased. Every week you could do this during February, and you have everyone read it that's African-American. And then what do? You fucking cut from line to line to line. Shelton Benjamin reads the whole thing, but you only play Shelton Benjamin's first line. Then Bobby Lashley, then MVP, then Sasha, They can't even do that. They can't be bothered to do that. Martin Luther King was a very important civil rights leader. Fuck out of here, bro. How do you expect them to elevate her to that level when it's written all over? Wonderful dancer, has charisma, has awesome entrance, gets over in her entrance with probably the most visually appealing thing. Incredible athleticism, can work a match and get over with the crowd and cut a promo. But instead, it's heat by association because of her husband. And
yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
You're only going to get this far because of that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like here in where I live, in this area, every year they do a women's empowerment convention. I mean, even having somebody like her make the rounds of that convention with the things that she's done with a black woman reaching her height.
No, that's Stephanie. We could never shine one of our talents like that. That's for my daughter. Dude, you didn't see that? That's Stephanie.
That's
their ego is, bro. That is right where their ego is. That's
where your crossover is, right there. And the fact that her glow segment, she could market to so many kids and young black kids, just all these things. She's so marketable, and they're just continuing.
It's like I don't want to let me stereotype the hood, but like single moms, obviously black African American culture, that rate is very high of single parent homes and baby mamas, and that's just the norm of what they perpetuated in this prison planet system where we send black men to jail for profit. I mean, let's not mince words of why that is that way. Now here's WWE with the opportunity to take MVP, Bobby Lashley, Apollo Crews, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin. Who else? Keith Lee. And have a sit down and say, we know tensions are high right now in America, and we all have our own wants, and that's to be the WWE champion, to be the best of what we do as an athlete. And we train hard every day. And we want to let you know, you don't have to go out here and do this and put yourself at risk. We're going to fight for you, and we want you to know, young African-American at home, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. You dream big, and then you double it. And you know that when you're scared, or when things aren't right, or when you don't feel like anybody's cares about you, that MVP cares, that Bobby Lashley cares, that Naomi cares, and we got your back. And you can do it because we did it. And let us be that for you. And who knows, 2-3 years from now, 10 years from now, you could be WWE champ. You could be the next Barack. I would get Barack Obama in on it too. All that shit, dude. And like, how hard is that message? It doesn't need to be black people versus the cops, which they have, and they didn't do. They had Ali in the ring with them this week, and they did some bullshit wrestling instead of black dudes versus cops, which is the heat right there. They just don't even get close to like empowering their performers to talk to their universe who really may need it. How many disenfranchised young black kids at age 6 to 10 who wonder when their dad's coming home and their mom's working 2 or 3 jobs could use that exact message of positivity to go and make sure their homework's done, to make sure that they're not getting involved with drugs in the wrong crowd, to do whatever to perpetuate some rap stereotype that's going to get them in a fucking body bag, dude, that they're not going to be out on the streets of Chicago at 10 at night when fucking idiots are out there with fucking AKs clapping and that could take their life. WWE has every opportunity to do that. Do you see Stephanie doing any of that while she goes to Ad Age magazine to stroke her own ass and put themselves over as marketing pros? No, they're fucking fools missing out on the biggest opportunity in the world to be the world leader, to heal some wounds at this time. And maybe that's by choice because they're tight with Donald Trump and they don't want that, bro. Problem, reaction, solution.
That's true. They got that cabinet spot. Well, I've missed these two. I have missed them so much. They've been off our TVs for so long, but they're back 2 weeks in a row. We've got Otis and Mandy, and they're backstage. Mandy and you know, they're talking about they haven't really been on a proper date. She's going to take Otis to his favorite barbecue restaurant, Ben Hameen. He's gonna get the ribs. He's gonna get the steak, and you know what he's gonna get for dessert? He's gonna get a little peach sundae covered in some whipped cream, some chocolate syrup. She's even gonna put the cherry on top. But yet, it's a little too happy there, because then we get Sonya Deville sneaking up behind and attacking Mandy Rose. And as you kind of noted, we get another hair spot as she begins to kind of trash talk Mandy Rose. She begins to cut her hair, telling her, you know, she's going to make her, you know, unpretty. And she busts her nose. I'm assuming that looked like fake blood there for a little bit.
The whole thing was just so fucking fake, bro. And to do the hair spot after we just did it. And here's the I'll come back to this for the triple whammy. Make sure to tell me to hit you with a triple whammy. But fucking, she's pulling her hair. She's got her on the ground. Mandy Rose is on the ground swimming like a fish out of water while she's just got one lock of her hair in her hand. And then we can see that the hair is actually a hair extension. You can see where it's glued and like there's a big fold in there. So we know she's just cutting a hair extension and not cutting her real hair, where there would be real stakes if she fired that fucking clipper up and went right down the center of her head. Now we're committed to character.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're committed to a bit. Now I'm going, holy shit, Mandy Rose is bald? Dude, I took 3 inches off of this today. This is commitment to a bit for 10 years. If you're not seeing it right now, I'm pointing to my beard. That's fucking ridiculous. The fact that she's on the payroll and wouldn't go bald right there and they had to do a little thing, whatever. So what is, and then, you know, before they really do anything, she just cuts off the extension that's supposed to make us believe, oh my God, what will it be? While she's doing swimming on the ground in concrete. It was so bad. Picks her up. The blood on the face looks so phony. And just everything's bad here. Then in comes Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce to fucking shut it down with whoever else. Where are we going from here, Colin?
Well, we got Scrap Daddy that comes in, and then Kayla Braxton arrives on the scene and makes it like a news thing where somebody just rolled up, like your local News 14 just rolled up onto the scene,
And
and then we
then
get Miz and Morrison walk in as witnesses to the scene, and they basically just crack jokes the whole entire time, and then Tucky comes over and tells them to leave. I was afraid, Ben Hameen, that we were going to get the Miz and Morrison versus Tucky and Otis right there, but that's probably going to happen next week.
what they're doing, I've said this: good artists create, great artists steal and make it their own. You know what Miz and Morrison are doing, or no?
No, what are they doing?
They're doing Letterkenny, which is a Canadian comedy show where wordplay and puns and one-upping each other is the whole. They do it on every show. So now they're trying to do little bits like that in it.
Okay.
However, you already had a segment that was, they wanted us to believe that was real, the attack, even though it looked phony as shit. Now you've made it dude, it's some Christopher Guest rib shit at this point once you fucking layer that on top of it. But that's not the reality they're trying to create that we're used to. They're just doing a rib shit on top of reality without setting that up, that the whole thing is a parody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in a style class unto ourselves and nobody knows what's going on. Let's go back to the girls. Because of what this seg did, here's more homework. What should happen? What should be the setup for SummerSlam?
It should be a hair versus hair match.
And who goes over?
Mandy Rose goes over, and she shaves Sonya Deville right there in the middle of the ring.
Right. So I would bill it as shaving lesbians, and that's how I would sell tickets for this. That's what.
Yeah, and and I'm sure Sonya Deville could come back with a pixie haircut. You know, get that Rhea Ripley rub.
Exactly. She'll have the lesbian dyke spike and she'll be right where she needs to be. It's terrible execution in this segment for the right business for the match, though. So
I mean, I know a lot of women that love Rhea Ripley, and they're not wrestling fans. They've just seen her from like, oh, I've seen this clip of her, and they're like madly in love with her, and she's straight. So like, let like an actual lesbian like Sonya Deville kind of get that side, that niche wrestling fan base right there, and more eyes to the product.
I agree. And gay money is the most lucrative demographic that you want to tap into. They're usually highly educated, they have expendable income, and they're in a higher tax bracket, and they are very loyal to people in their movement. So if you did this the right way and made LGBTQ headlines with it, which they scratch the surface X amount of times and never go in there either. Mm-hmm. And that would bring, that's where you could bring 100,000 to 400,000 loyalists to WWE just for the Sonya Deville segments, if they would even remotely try and write for them, you know. But this was bad execution all the way around, because the opening part of this segment, then to turn it into the news thing with the Letterkenny stuff, funny little lines, but it killed everything else they were trying to do completely.
And that's pretty bad too, because the Otis and Mandy segments have been some of the more fun parts of SmackDown in recent weeks. Granted, they actually took them off the show for several weeks. Yeah, that's, which I've been surprised by that.
I said on Russo brand is what they should have done is not tied them together fully as a couple. She gets a fucking invitation, or she had an invitation before she was with them, to go on a trip with somebody. And maybe it was Baron Corbin. That's what I was thinking, right? She becomes one of Corbin's chicks or whatever. She gets tricked into it to going with him. So she's still neutral good. She's not really turning on him, but you know, Otis doesn't know that. Otis still has what?
He still like has the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Colin, you're right on, right out of the gate. So what do? I call it Mandy in the Bank. You fucking put a wig on the fucking briefcase. He starts talking to it. He misses it. He's making out with it. Right? And he you know how it, you know, guys can mess with them. Like, you think your girl's fucking around or whatever. Like, you can be your own torture chamber and nothing's really going on. She's not really messing around with it. She's just doing whatever with her girlfriends or whatever, but you don't know. You might have a suspicion. And all Corbin has to do is pluck that string, and Otis can drive himself insane. And then we get comedy gold with Mandy in the Bank, where he'd be making out dude, we get none of that for
Well,
they're just off TV. I don't care if they got COVID or not. Couldn't he shoot that at home with a wig on the goddamn thing, bro? Like, this is how lazy they are. We just have to, fuck that for 4 weeks, and then we'll bring it back when we want to. Somebody asked about Nation of Domination. Is that dead already? We had Farouk, Ron Simmons, 3 weeks ago, give us a nice little, in the middle of the scene, think about what I'm talking about. It could be good, right? That was like the catalyst. Then the week after, we see Mark Henry backstage. So we're thinking Nation, and then we hear it's just dropped dead in the water. Like, dude, they just don't know how to do anything properly anymore. Nothing.
Well, I think they kept I think there is a little bit of a plan with the Otis not being on TV thing. I think that was on purpose because if you've noticed, they haven't really talked about the Money in the Bank briefcase either. It's like right as he won it, they had him in that little segment with Braun, but you haven't really seen it.
It wasn't COVID. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
Answer. You're doing about 95 on your test tonight.
I don't. I mean, unless he's
him off TV.
Unless he's done something behind the scenes that we don't know about to bring him off with like Me Too.
Something else happened that was out of his control. What was it?
I have no clue.
Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I could be wrong. I was gonna say no. I'm gonna backtrack myself, so I'm wrong on this. I was gonna say it's because Paul Heyman's gone, and maybe Paul Heyman was the guy that had investment in him because it was the same story with Aleister Black, but Paul Heyman was Raw, so
he was on Raw, yeah.
Be the same shtick, but it could be any of those things. Maybe it was COVID and we weren't told. Maybe it's not. But to me, if you take a guy off and a girl off TV for 4 weeks with no explanation, then you march them back on, that shows something happened, or you guys are just really that much of mental midgets that you can't keep it.
Yeah, because it was very surprising that they did that because it seemed like I said earlier, it was one of the more popular segments on SmackDown, and then those two are just like gone 4 weeks. There's the money. I mean, he doesn't really even carry the briefcase around with him. Like tonight, he didn't have the briefcase on him. So it's
Manny in the Bank says Buckshot Kid said Manny in the Bank would be like Al Snow and had exactly when I won the Northeast or when I won the Middle Eastern title, the Northeastern title. You saw it. What was the first thing I did with it?
You put your face on it. You slapped it right on there.
Bro, how hard is it to get a Mandy Rose sticker with some cleavage, slap it on the fucking Money in the Bank thing, and he's making out with it, bro? It's not hard at all.
When do you get to Perry Saturn levels with it, though?
I say get close to it and see. It's nothing's live. Everything is fucking pre-taped. You could tape 50 things and choose from the best. But he's just sitting home for 4 weeks, can't be bothered to do promos. You can go to fucking Kinko's and get that made yourself, do them all yourself in a week, and then take them and be like, hey, I did these. What do you guys think about this? God damn, I like that Mandy in the back. Like, that'll pop them. Instead, it's just wait until they come up with something for you. Well,
that's true. That's true. I have a lot of trepidation in saying what I'm about to say because I know that Ben Hameen is here. But ladies and gentlemen, it is boss time here on the Smack Attack, but it's not quite boss time because it's we get Bayley accompanied by Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss for the women's championship here on SmackDown. So this is another match. I felt like there were rumors that they were going to put this belt on Nikki Cross. Bayley eventually, of course, goes over. This was an okay match. I wasn't like up in arms about this match. I
got to stop you because I looked at my notes and one thing I wanted to say about Mandy. You know when they pulled her up and it was phony, and then she put the beating on her before they all run in again. This is where they could go TVMA if they wanted to too. She rolls over and her shirt was ripped and she's on the cell, but instead of letting her titty come out, she fucking like holds it in there. Like that's one of the worst things you can do. Well, you see amateur guys do this a lot in wrestling, but like this is why I don't wear little fucking panties in the ring either. I wear BDUs and a t-shirt and wrestle like a fucking man. But like guys who like to put boots on and underwear and roll around with other guys, they'll fucking get a wedgie or whatever. And then they'll be on the cell. Like a guy's kicking the shit out of you, just hits you with 15 fucking things. Your head should be all fucked up. they'll reach back and pull the wedgie out of their fucking ass because they know their butt cheek is showing. So fuck the cell. Let me go to reality because my ass is showing. Dude, if you got knocked out in the streets and your nut sack's hanging out the side of your shorts, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm knocked out, but first let me tuck my nut sack in. You're fucking knocked out. Knocked the fuck out. So if she's knocked out and her titty comes out, what do? Show that it's not live and fucking put a blackout over it. Or even if you wanted to, because it's a comedy bullshit thing that we're going to with Miz and Morrison, you do a fucking Otis like face over her fucking tit. But at least we get to like, they'll be like, the internet will blow up, go, Mandy Rose's titty popped out. But then they put Otis over. But like, there's your viral shit, right? If this girl is going to look that hot and do all these Instagram and TikTok things for free where you can see her camel toe, why wouldn't she get a titty out for fucking half a second where we can black it out and at least get people talking and make the beating look remotely real? But instead, Miz and Morrison got to get hair jokes in.
Yeah, they got to get their stuff over there. What were your thoughts on this championship match here? I mean, I know you said that there was some extra work done earlier in this match. Was this the match that you're talking about where they worked the legs twice in the match? Where did they work double leg heat? I know you said the hair thing we talked about, but was this the other match that they possibly had the leg heat in it?
I think they worked leg heat in the. Where did I fucking put it?
Yeah, I don't see anything in my notes that says that they worked.
Remember who worked the leg heat? I just know there was two of them on the show. I can't remember where the second one was.
Well, so the obnoxious heels. I mean, that they're trying everything they can with Sasha and Bailey to get these women.
Oh, I know you wanted the triple whammy.
Oh, yes,
triple whammy is in booking mistake right here.
And this one or the Mandy Rose.
Yes.
Wow.
What do we have? What's this segment? Billboard it.
Oh, this is the women's championship match.
What was before that?
Oh, the Mandy Rose segment.
What was before that?
Oh crap. I gotta go back. Hang on. The Naomi Lacey Evans.
What's the problem?
Oh, it's all this women stuff, maybe?
Three-girl segment back to back to back to back. Women are a feature, even if you're the champions, okay? You don't book 3 girl segments back to back. That's like going, hey, and next up, the flying trapeze artist. They perform. Hey, everybody give it up for flying trapeze artist. You know who's up next? The flying trapeze artist. All right, everybody enjoy the same. All right, give it up for him. Hey, you never heard, guess who's coming up next in the show? The flying trapeze artists are going to be out. That's bad booking, bro. Bad booking 101. Not bad performance and bad segments. Bad setting your show up in structure. Terrible structure.
But it's women's evolution.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's the new era of wrestling.
1.46.
You got women like Kairi Sane wanting to go back to Japan because they're tired of dealing with the bullshit in the WWE.
Got it, dude. Nia Snacks. Dude, wouldn't you want to quit too? This bitch is fucking throwing you into the, like, with reckless abandon and just wrecking your head and your neck. And, dude, and she don't care. Meanwhile, Nia's like, but I had to stick up for Bailey because Ronda was taking liberties with her, so I had to speak up. And meanwhile, she's throwing Kyrie around, doesn't give a shit.
That's hilarious. I love your Nia Jax impression. That popped me there. that popped me there. Oh, look, Bailey wins the championship match, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm shocked at that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I said earlier there was rumors that Nikki Cross was supposedly going to win this, but ultimately, as we all can see in the distant future, they're so setting up this Bailey Sasha turning on each other. It's just a matter of which one's going to be the face. Everybody thinks it's probably going to be Sasha Banks. Can we just go on ahead and get to this? Somebody's got to. Bailey's got to lose one of these titles so that she can feel lesser than Sasha and feel some type of way. At the end of the show, we basically go off the show with Bliss comforts Cross. Cross pushes Bliss away, shoves her down. The lights go out. The lights turn red. The Fiend is behind Bliss. He paces around her, kneels next to her.
And then I want you to put your, I want you to put your meat on her shoulder. Put your fiend meat on her shoulder. That's what you're gonna do, pal.
That's what you're gonna do. Well, she puts something. Well, he puts a little something in Mandy's mouth, or Alexa Bliss's mouth, as he locks her in the mandible claw.
And the old Mandy gimmick.
Oh, jeez.
You know, the end wasn't that bad, and it set it up to all right, I guess. For things.
So now the Fiend's going to be wrestling women.
Well, it's because she was in the.
The fire,
Like whatever. So it's to fuck with Braun's head, obviously. So we need to start with Braun hot on next Friday, and if we don't, because you got to start your show with what you kind of ended with, right? That's where you want to go. So if the last thing we saw was that, the first thing better be Braun tearing fucking the entire NXT PC apart looking for him, or, the Firefly Funhouse or whatever. And it's just like the Michael Jackson Thriller laugh, right, for the Fiend. And there's clues, but he's already gone and he's evaded and he's kidnapped or whatever. I got to say, Nikki Cross is working her ass off, bro. In the gym, her body looks like a real wrestler and not soft anymore. And you can see it. She's got the gimmicks. I like when she pumps them up there, and she's got crazy energy, but it's still pretty well contained. Like it's not all over the place. She's doing good with that. That's a hard thing to do.
I don't know if you've seen NXT, but her husband has gotten into some serious shape. I don't know if you've seen Killian Dane lately, but he was on the show. He was on the show. Yeah, he's slimmed down a lot and looked like he's toned up a lot. Like kind of like when Jack Black toned up a lot. That's kind of what he has that same body type.
To be honest with you, I didn't even know they were married. So that's cool that they're pushing each other, saying, hey, a lot of people got shit canned. Now's our time. Let's not look like slot buckets. Let's show. Believe me, they see that work ethic, and that's why she's in the main event tonight. I can almost guarantee you that, bro. So good for them. That's smart workers. And even though you're in with the ding dongs and throw the legit ring at fucking Sasha and how dare you, like the overacting. And it's just like that when people say people are cosplaying wrestlers, that's the perfect example of it right there, bro. I don't care if you can think you are the legit champ, the legit boss, or Bailey thinks those two are cosplay wrestlers. They are not professional wrestlers, bro. They just aren't at this point. And we knew who was going to win, so it was about the business at the end. The ding dongs get out of there, and we do the bit to further the Braun business. I don't know if I like it though, because this is me being this is me being way smarter. But no, I think that the Sister Abigail character is a good one to have. I do not think it should be Alexa Bliss. It needs to be someone who is a shapeshifter, who can become the love interest or whoever it needs to be of whoever whoever Bray is messing with. So let's say the next time he's going to go after Killian Dane, maybe, whatever, she's the love interest, whoever Killer Cross would be my thing. Like say Bray, and then you have Scarlett become that.
Oh yeah.
With it that way. So I think they're making, if they're going to try and make her Sister Abigail, terrible mistake. If they're going to just do the kidnapping and Braun's tearing shit up, then I think we got someplace to go. But I wouldn't flip Alexa Bliss to become some dark, spooky thing. Just let her be a damsel in distress right now, and that's more than enough, I think.
Well, it seems like they ended with mixing a lot of storylines together, kind of how they did at the beginning of the show there, where you got the Sasha and Bailey storyline kind of thing going on with them and their belts. It looks like they've been teasing lately Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss splitting up, and we saw that tonight where she kind of pushed her away, upset in the loss. And then of course the Fiends
for either of them. Who has heat there?
Yeah, because that doesn't do business for anybody. I think that they've been helping each other enough with you need to keep them together. But then you throw in the Fiend business at the end with Alexa Bliss, so you've got all that jumbled business together just to end the show. And
in the third part of a Herald, the world should collide. If you don't know, this is improv talk, because Colin's an improviser and I can tell him things like this. So the first part of the show, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This part, it does, because we're in the final bit where we've seen these worlds and we know that these characters can interact in a certain way. So that inside of the Venn diagram is the world that we got from the swamp fight and Alexa Bliss's cameo into the world of the women's revolution and the little side story that maybe there is trouble in paradise between those two, Nikki Cross and her. But now this story should take precedent. So if Nikki Cross is true to her character, next week when Braun shows up, Nikki should admit that she was mad at Alexa, but she realizes how much of a friend she is and that she's way more worried. Like, you and I can have an argument with GGP or Ray or whatever. If somebody abducted him tomorrow, I'm not going to be like, good, I'm fucking glad he's gone.
Yeah.
We need to see that real human side of like, our differences are petty until the people we love are truly in danger, and start from that point in that id, right? So unless but the chances are, what are they going to do? They're going to bring her out in a black shawl, and now she's mind controlled, and now she's Sister Act. Like, just dumb, because Bruce and Vince don't know how to do this shit. They don't know how to take something so high level that's out of Bray's imagination that references Anunnaki, reptilians. Fucking Vince thinks Anunnaki's a fucking Mexican wrestler that they just hired to NXT. He don't know.
He had a great hibachi chicken at Anunnaki.
It was fucking phenomenal, and Benny Hanna's going to be world champ next month. Like, they just don't know. They take something wonderful and they dumb it down to X amount, dude. So the audience is with you, but they don't trust that they can play to the height of their intelligence and get it over, So you're going to get the lowest common denominator on everything, unfortunately.
I mean, and they could have used Sarah Logan if they were going to have like a single character be that crazy backwoods person like that. Like Sarah Logan, there you go. I mean, she's already kind of into that stuff.
I would have put her with the husbands and actually done something decent with the Viking stuff. And now she's just in the pregnancy clique. So that's all over with too. I had a whole thing that I was going to pitch to her and hit her up in DM, because I'm very connected to the Women's Lumberjack Association of America. And, I was going to pitch a show where she was one of the stars of the leaders to do like a survivalist show with just women who are outdoors women and could hang and do that. But once I saw she jumped on the pregnancy train, I was like, all right, go have fun. Go do what you want to do for the next 4 years. Rest of us will keep up and keep on the path that we set out to.
Well, Ben Hameen, normally on the Smack Attack here, when we wrap up the show, we hop in the mailbag segment, and I sent out a little bit of an email alert, and I got 2 emails. Two from 2 great listeners here. One is from your great friend Hans.
Shit, so this is about a 7-page email?
Yeah, we're gonna. Do you need to get some refreshments or something? We're gonna be here for a few days. Ya Allah. Fuck smack off. My out of town side pieces here. Ben, what the fuck song is that at the beginning of Horseman? That shit is banging, bro. Thanks for all the content and your grindage. You know who.
Was it Manny Fresh? I can't remember.
I think you did do I think you did the Manny Fresh song "Stay Fly" at the beginning of
Zarface.
Friday Locker Room.
Zarface. Oh my gods. I'm not sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So, well, that one was from Hans, which surprisingly that was very short.
You wanted to know what the fucking song was?
Yeah, that's surprising. I guess this isn't a Conspiracy Horseman, so we don't get the fucking
I got
novels.
With that, but I'm still promotional consideration paid for by the following. Hey, bro, look today.
Yeah, this is Zarface. Which is Inspect the Deck.
Well, I mean, you usually start most of your shows with some Wu-Tang or some of
I
the
try. It depends on the mood. Let me see.
Yeah.
Downloads. What the fuck was it called? When Gods Go Mad. Czarface featuring Jizza.
Well, our next email comes from Big Ray. Shouts out to Big Ray. He's back and better than ever.
Good.
Sup, dork. I miss your face and am looking forward to getting back next week. I am not looking forward to watching SmackDown, as I'm beginning to theorize that the reason my colon was infected was because of SmackDown. Well, you had those issues way back in the days of WrestleZone, and you were watching Impact a lot in those days, so it could have been all those episodes of Impact. Instead of the SmackDown flu, I got a SmackDown diverticulitis explosion. I really am interested to hear what you guys think about Eric Bischoff being on AEW next week. Every single week, I always say that AEW is reminiscent of WCW between the years of 2000 and 2001, and we all know what happened in 2001. How do you think it's all going to end for AEW? I've gone on record saying I believe this company would be gone by 2022 as Impact Wrestling continues to live and WWE continues to drag its back leg like the zombie it is. Ben, please slap out of his mouth whatever Colin is stuffing his face while recording this podcast. Take care, guys. I'll be back next week. Big Ray. Oh, yes. Normally I rep RBV Fitness here in the Smack Attack Lounge, Ben Hameen. And earlier you did the Smack Attack blues therapy session that you do. And one of your listeners must have hacked into my phone and seen the order that I was receiving earlier, because there's a new wing restaurant that opened up down the street, and they had fried Oreos. So while you give everyone your answer to Big Ray's email, I'm going to indulge in one of these delicious fried Oreos.
I did a killer steak I made that night.
Ooh, that looks delicious.
Camera will catch it.
I mean, it's just like the fair food. I mean,
yeah, no, I've had those at Great New York State Fair myself. I'm not too hardcore about them or whatever. We went out to Nikki Doodle's, got a little ice cream too afterwards. So for RBF Fitness, I got a rep in there. Yeah, man, Big Ray, we love you, and I'm glad you're kicking out, man. I want you to rest. It will cover the spots, dude. That's not a problem. Same with Chris Silvio, the Chris Silvio. His GoFundMe's up right now. You can go to Jenna Van Muscles, wherever, Instagram, Twitter, the Chris Silvio Twitter, and the links are up there. They'll be in the link of the description of this. They're in the link of Friday Locker Room Horseman. If you can share it, if you can donate, whatever you could do for my brothers, man, I appreciate that.
We usually have a really good, solid group of guys that help out when the need arises here.
Always. And I got I'm going to send maybe in the next week or two when the money comes in. Since I got the Roadcaster Pro, I'm going to upgrade Ray with the Behringer 1204 that I had there. So I'm going to send that to Ray. So that's how we do it. We try and raise everybody up, man. Pass it on. Doesn't matter if it's secondhand equipment. It works fucking great. And it's just going to up the quality of everything we do. So to answer your questions, Ray, I can't disagree. 2022 is probably a fair assessment. Because the SJW stuff they've set up for themselves to have these standards of we're not hiring Hogan, and then Excalibur's dropping N-bombs from 10 years ago. And then what are you going to do? You gotta let them go. Otherwise you look like a fool. So now you have set up all these traps for yourself to catch your foot in. And or are you going to toe the line of some bullshit that's being spread by Soros and the mainstream media to keep the sheep in a certain way? Or are you going to be the carnies that you actually fucking are and need to be and work all this for everything and stay alive and make people? Because they did the whole thing of, we'd never hire ex-WWE guys. We've got our own thing. We know it's hot. We the indies. Here they come. One after another. And what do you think your little indie friends are going to do? And they're going to get pushed right out. What do you think? No one's learned anything. Khan, he's such a super wrestling mind and fan. What did Bischoff do? Really is the one that sank WCW, not Vince, so by any means. Then what's he do? Suck holes his way into Impact. F's that up, gets Hogan in there. The leeches come. Brooke Hogan era gets fired. Suck holds his way in to be a consultant there. Then what's he do? Gets to go back over to Vince so Vince can stand over him, but he still gets the job so he can fucking be like, see, I made it to WWE and we pay off that business. Okay. Never really got paid off how it should with Vince versus Eric, but you know, he's in and out, does his Hall of Fames and all that so he can go do his indie appearances. Then for the Band-Aid on the broken leg, after we meet with Fox, instead of hiring Russo and someone who could actually right the ship and do the right thing, Jacob Ullman, executive at Fox, big wrestling fan, marks out for the fact that he can hire Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman. He does it. Those guys, Vince and Bruce, go, sweet. We've got scapegoats. Now, and they get the power play. Vince gets Bischoff to sell and move all the way out to Connecticut, only to shit can him because he doesn't play the rules where he stands at the office and, oh, can I get a minute? Can I do? No, Bischoff turns his phone off at 7 and that's it. And that's going to lead to heat and they have a reason to fire him and blame shit on him. So now he can't go anywhere else. Impact, not going to have him back. WWE isn't. So, and wasn't he the one that insulted Khan calling him Jacksonville Dixie?
I think he was the one that said that.
And then he got up and walked out because he was so insulted at that. Then all it takes is Conrad reaching out to Khan to get him on 83 weeks because Khan's going to mark. And fucking then our stories are so similar. I started when 37. You started when you're 37. Oh, except I worked my way up while I didn't have a pot to piss in and your dad gave you fucking everything. There's a little difference there. But Bischoff knows that. So he's going to let Khan, mark for him. And Bischoff tied into TNT for decades. His friends were there. Bischoff, a very smart corporate man. Not a great creative, a very, very smart corporate businessman on how to do espionage and get things pushed. I believe that Bischoff, before that or right at that time of that 83 weeks, had signed a contract with TNT that is kayfabe, where he is an outside consultant, not on the AEW payroll because he knows how that would look. But now he has, I bet every week he reviews the show, gives all the notes and all the suggestions, and that Khan wants to have him on the show to get people talking, and that they won't see. Bischoff's not signed by AEW, but he came in and did this thing that's going to be a flop as well. A debate with a guy who's a mute. Great idea. But the reality is his paycheck's probably coming from TNT, and he had that set up before Khan ever walked into that trap, dude. You got to understand, this guy takes bites. He's a major fucking shark. He takes huge bites out of people that are way more savvy of a worker than Khan is, or Dixie. And he fucking, how did he carve up Dixie? 6 ways to Sunday. How did he carve up half the locker room so he could get Hall, Nash, and Hogan and them over and do what they wanted to? Bro, this guy knows his shit. And believe me, they are all looking at him as just a big pile of money. None of them are looking at the going, wow, AEW is doing awesome work. We got to get jobs there. It's just the last bastion where these leeches come through to suck off the fucking bloated corpse once again, bro. Will he add something? Sure. Will he give them ideas and maybe the big brother that Khan needs? Let's hope so. But the reality is Khan thinks he's being helped. Bischoff is there to cut Khan's throat and become the top guy. And Khan doesn't even know that. He doesn't see it.
You think he would end around Khan's dad, or like Khan and go to his dad?
Absolutely. He'll do it through TNT.
Okay, yeah.
He'll use TNT leverage to put leverage on Khan's dad and say, we can make this work, but we have to do it this way. What your son set up was all right, but now if you really want to compete, you got to listen to what I did. I beat him for 4 or 5 years, dude. And like, what's Khan's dad going to do? Sink more money into his kid who's just giving money out to everybody who's a fucking fanboy that he's a fan of from PWG. And then now Cody's buddies who he says, bro, you got to hire this guy. He's the next whatever. And then they don't get any value out of him Or is he going to go with the dude who's a proven fucking businessman, cutthroat dude who's in with the network, and Bischoff knows how to work all that? Khan is a fanboy to him, bro. He might put him over as brother, and yeah, we're in this together, pal. But dude, we're in this. Let me cut your throat for you, real nice, real nice. You don't even know what's coming in the mob. It's your best friend that does it.
And we're going to stitch that all back around to when I was talking about Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson on Talking Shop. They said the exact same thing about Paul Heyman. They thought they were Paul Heyman guys, and look at what happened to them.
So did Tommy Dreamer. So did fucking Rob Van Dam. So did Shane Douglas.
And who was looking out for themselves at the end of the day? Who was secretly on WWE's payroll, just like Eric Bischoff. They're all learning from each other in this game.
And guess what? Heyman's still on the payroll as Brock's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck about you, bro. And that's the truth. But Khan is so, just in fanboy state of it all. But the people who think this is a one-off or that he signed AEW, he's not. He worked it. And I don't know this for fact, but I'm just saying, in my mind, he's that much of a savvy, cutthroat businessman that he will get what he wants from TNT to make Khan mark out. And then in Bischoff's mind at night, he's only 2 chess moves away from running AEW and competing once again.
That's insane. That's crazy. I do feel like, because I've heard you and Matt talking about this on Light the Fuse, I guess.
You should hear me and Stevie talk about it off camera.
Oh man, I know there's those little factions that you have. Is it more so like the Cody faction that's bringing in these ex-WWE guys, and it's kind of that Omega Young Bucks faction that wants to not bring in wants to do it without the WWE names, and let's do this without as little WWE help as possible kind of thing?
How's that going?
It does not seem like it's going anywhere for any of those guys.
Who's winning in that? You're right on. I'm not going to say what I know, yes or not, but the way you laid it out is very much that. And who's winning that battle?
It seems like Cody's the one that's winning that battle.
Now, who's not in being the elite videos and who's...
Yeah, no, and that's what, again, Schaffer said that, but that makes sense too, that if TNT is the TV title, they would want that title on Cody for Cody to have a title, because I think at the end of the day, they did want Cody to have that title.
Oh, that was TNT's call, but that's a big mistake, and Cody put them over, and Cody knew that. So Cody, I'm not going to go in that far. Cody knows that because he's a smart worker and son of Dusty, and his brother's Dustin, and fucking it's in his blood. So Cody knows that him chasing the title would have been way better for 3 years as an underdog babyface, never getting it. And then when he really got it. But when he saw that TNT, whoever it is over there, was pushing for him to be that, and they wanted that, he sees that as his power play. That's where he splits off from the Good Brother. We're the underground, and we're going to do this together. And now and what did he do in the first pay-per-view when he came out? What did he do?
He smashed the throne. And
now what is he?
He is that throne now.
He's fucking him and Brandy are Steph and game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no denying it. And believe me, backstage, it's fucking seen that exact same way. But guess what? Who's on top in WWE?
The Steph
game.
Game.
Like all of that Bullet Club, Too Sweet Me Briz, and fucking For Life or Forever. Like that's only till I can get the upper hand with you at TNT. And now I'm the shot caller. I can bring in my boys, and I don't have to clear it with all of you. And they're like, we had an executive vice president meeting with Khan, but then Cody goes and has a meeting with Khan.
And it's not like Cody's shy about saying any of that, because the operant conditioning is there in his entrance Titan, where it says, there is another wrestling family other than the McMahon's base. So he's telling you out loud that.
Go watch MJF's promo this week, and the first half of it is all a shoot. but it's not on Moxley. It's on Khan and Cody. And then he switches gears midway through and makes it about Moxley. So you think the marks would think the whole thing's about Moxley. It's not. The first half is completely about the Office.
Oh man, I might just have to watch AEW just to see the Office drama take place on TV.
Fucking phenomenal. That's a guy who gets it 100%.
Oh, MJF is, he's from the time when all those videos surfaced of him on Rosie O'Donnell back in the day until now. Who would have thought that he would have turned into what he's turned into now? I mean, the guy's great on the mic.
Yeah,
he's got to get his in-ring performance up a little bit better, in my opinion.
I disagree. I think he needs to wrestle less. I think he should be working strictly old school heel shit, no high spots whatsoever. I always fucking forget his name. Wrestler from the 60s and 70s, Nick Bockwinkel. Like, he's the new Nick Bockwinkel, a super smart guy, technical, can out wrestle you without fucking having to do any crazy get your shit in stuff. And that should frustrate guys who want to get their shit in. And he just fucking fuck off. I'm good. Like, that's all the attitude he needs. Like, that's enough to make you want to punch him in the face as a fan.
Well, I had a feeling that you would have liked him, Humming, because he was a guy that like tried to live the gimmick. Like, I was listening to Colt Cabana's podcast one day, and he had MJF on there, and Colt had to legit like, dude, drop the gimmick, like be like, he had to tell him to drop the gimmick and like be serious with him because MJF was gonna keep being MJF.
I love it. I almost fucking feel real shitty about myself because the reason I mean, obviously my whole business is now built on this in my creative mind as well as backed up with the wrestling. But for the first 10 years of my career, from 2006 to 2016, nobody heard this fucking voice ever, dude. I would type completely in caps on all my social media. People in my family who like a ways away wanted me to shave the beard. They thought I was legit going Muslim and shit. Like, they don't like, that's what the power of kayfabe is. And that's why I have supreme respect for a guy like MJF. Granted, he's not doing a heavy overloaded character piece like I am, be it, something ethnic. Well, I guess he is. He's doing white bread, fucking spoiled rich kid. But it's that commitment to the bit that makes you better than everybody else, that gives you the real heat when your fans never get to hear when I wouldn't call my fans, people who hated me never got to hear this. That kills my heat when I'm doing a sing along on the SmackDown watch along because it's so fucking bad. Before I never would have let myself do that 2 or 3 years ago. Never. I only do it now because I know wrestling's in its dying day and I don't give a fuck anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got you. Well, Ben, that's it for the emails and everything. We can plug the social media. I know you got a lot of stuff to plug. You guys, you can find me here every Saturday on the Smack Attack at Hameen Media or hackerhameen.podbean.com. We do have the affiliate shows that are over there at Hameen Media. Is it Hameen Media Group?
Yeah, HameenMediaGroup.podbean.com. We're getting the iTunes set up in the next probably 48 hours, so it'll be in the feeds there as well. But if you can follow HameenMediaGroup.podbean.com, that's going to give you all the shows that were at hackerhameen.podbean.com. We've just moved those pet projects over to that because they've been flourishing and we don't want anybody's stuff to get lost by the wayside. And what is that to add one more feed? I mean, you're going to get all the free shows and we're doing even more cool content. We had a great meeting today with MSG and Dr. Ted and I, and we have some cool ideas for new stuff as well, man. So as always, we want free and independent media platforms to shine here in the face of mainstream so we can keep this underground movement building because we have the best punditry. I don't give a shit. I mean, Russo brand, Hameen brand combined, and you can spin K100 out of that. Shane Douglas's guys. There's nobody from our pundits to actual workers that are giving you a more real and raw opinion on everything. And it's not to like get ourselves a job. It's to look at the art form critically, want the best for our brothers and sisters, and demand that they raise the bar on this shit. And when they don't and they lower it, well, then I'm going to fucking call it out and shit all over it. And if they feel bad about it, do something to raise your fucking acumen up a little bit because you're playing at preschool level finger paints at this time. And I'm trying to paint like Monet. That's the difference between us. So, if you really want to support it, you guys, prowrestlingtees.com/Ben I'm going to be donating all of my August proceeds to Chris Silvio's health fund. So granted, you're helping me spread my brand and my name, but really all profits are going to go to helping a guy who's doing great work here at Hameen Media Group. If you don't want to give Chris any money, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/crossfire wrestling and get the new Ben Hameen Crossfire shirt there. Very cool. Tuttle's a very loyal, he goes by Timbo Slice too, but a very loyal listener here at Hameen Media Group. He got that shirt, probably the first one, and put out a pretty funny meme today. So that's on my Twitter at @Ben_Hameen and on my Instagram at HackerHameen. We'll be here 7 days a week with shows, man. Just produce. And anybody who's feeling under the weather on my staff right now, hopefully you're getting better, man, and take all the time you need to rest up, because I want you guys at 100%, not wearing yourselves out.
That's it, guys. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Colin Wysong, and you can catch me in the Hameen Media discussion group whipping up on Ben Hameen in the MMA Pick'em this weekend. Oh, that's not a happy face to be made there. Guys, Ben Hameen, thank you very much for coming on to the show. You definitely gave us an education. I am excited. Also, I can't forget to put over my new favorite co-host. Yes, Big Ray, you're slowly getting replaced by Dr. Ted. He's slowly starting to, he's clawing out just parts of my heart and replacing your areas with his. Catch us on the Next Level Wrestling Review every Thursday here at hackerhameen.podbean.com.
I love it. That's such a great take on that show. It's not just an NXT review show, but there's homework, there's coaching, a lot of breakdown, how I kind of did with Colin. I know I break the swear record too, and I get too pissed off about things that don't matter, but definitely glad to have guys like Dr. Ted and Silvio on here, because they approach things with a little less craziness than I can. They're Southern boys, and they got a little bit more fucking chill to them than me, who can snap on a dime. So I'm so pumped to have my OVW brothers join the fold here at Hameen Media Group, and then be able to give that Rip Rogers, education that we paid top dollar for to all of us listening, who's going to learn and apply it. And it's only made Ray better. It's made you a better pundit, MSG as well. You guys are getting it without ever having been in the ring. And that's a very important thing to add to the quality of our shows here. So I'm really glad for that, but definitely turn in the next level and check that out. A little bit different spin on what's going on, you guys.
Yeah, he takes me to school each and every week. Oh,
and Monday Locker Room Stooge Report.
Oh yeah,
Rip Rogers may be joining us, and
I was going to say you were teasing that there.
Shoot back on Triple H. So Monday Locker Room, not to be missed. Monday morning live, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, and here on my YouTube.com/Ben Hameen. So watch for the signal flare to go up, and if you think I swear, holy fuck.
It's a free promo class on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, from Rip Rogers himself. Oh. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be throwing heaters. Well, Ben Hameen, I'm going to let you sign us off here.
Y'all infidels, you know who it is. It's CY and BH. That's right. He didn't tell me I was a failure like EY did to Bince, pal. But we're going to be back here on the Smack Attack, maybe, if Bruce makes it another week for 5 hours of wrestling that he's got to write. If not, I know a couple guys who can handle the job, infidels. But we don't job for anybody, because it's a Smack Attack here at hackerhameen.podbean.com. YOLO! You'll never defeat me, Y-Song. Never!